Welcome, 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 welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. I'm Liberal 12th Man, and we are going to be going into a little bit of fun stuff today. Fun stuff if you're into numbers or in stats and all the other crap. I know a lot of people aren't, so it's all good and all well and good. It's just more so I wanted to definitely have a session with you guys, just kind of touch base, trying to make sure that I put content out each and every day. Normally, I will be in that 7 p.m. UK slot for my broadcast, but today I had the honor and privilege of being a part of Frank Carlisle's show. Big up to Ensman TV, big up to John Conway, big up to I Love Liverpool. Let's go for sure. Ensman TV, big up again. Why I'm saying it twice is because I'm nice, and also because because Ensman was taking on a very diverse and a diverse and certainly prominent panel yesterday on the Big Sixpence. He had Montz on there. Obviously, he's the host, but he also is taking on Cal from Coppish. He had Tom Little on there, and Ensman was on there too, doing this thing, representing. And it's definitely bringing on some alternative takes and alternative situations. Big up to Nature Boy. Woo! That's right. Woo! That's how you do it, like the Nature Boy. I got you, Nature Boy, in the house for sure. Big up, big up, big up. Yeah, I was going to basically do a little bit of like just kind of talking about some of the things, some of the topics. I'm going to have a more in-depth conversation with this as well. Nature Boy, Ensman, if you guys are willing or wanting, I can send you guys the link if you guys would like to be a part of it, today's show. But I don't know. I know it's late and it's getting almost to the midnight hour, if not already at the midnight hour over in the UK. So if that's not a possibility, totally understand. Totally understand. But yeah, I wanted to go over a couple of things that I've been like that I was addressing, I guess, on the Frank Carlisle show, and also some of the things that they were talking about on the show that Ensman that I just spoke of that he was on. And if you haven't checked it out, be sure to check out. First off, foremost, go to Ensman TV. Also, he's known as the Nature Boy, but he also has Savage Talk Sports. He also goes by Hugo. So there's a lot of channels that the Nature Boy is a part of, but all of them are good, whether it's dealing with football or even dealing with pop culture or dealing with more so movies. He definitely puts it out there. So let me see. Big up. Definitely big up to Manchester City fans. Says seen you on Coppish, mate. So thought I'll pop in and leave a like. Yo, that is mad appreciation. I appreciate that for sure. I definitely appreciate that. I definitely go head to head when it comes to the city guys. But the city fans that I've befriended have all been really cool, and it definitely puts a different slant on the rivalries that we have. So I appreciate it when I do see love like that be shown, and I appreciate that for sure. Big up Brian. I sent Brian the link. He's more than welcome to hop on. First place, yes, first place with 51 points. My favorite stat. That is certainly true. Certainly true. Yeah, because like if anything, man, like we have a lot of good stuff to look forward to. A lot of good stuff to look forward to with this season, and it's getting down to the nitty gritty. There's a lot of cool questions that we had pop up. And again, if Ensman or Nature Boy or Brian, if you guys, I sent the link to Jake, participant in this. I definitely would love that. Reason why I'm saying it in the tone I am is because as of late, I get that we lost the game against Arsenal. Look, it was certainly not our best game, if not our worst game, I would say. See, this is the kind of banter I enjoy. I enjoy it. I enjoy it for sure. Our blue friend here says, at Liverpool 12th Man. You got the champagne for our trophy parade in Manchester. I got you. I got the champagne for our quad celebration. That's what I got the champagne for. Our incoming quad celebration. That's what I got it for. Big up. JK in the house. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. How you as well? Are you cool,
I'm
yeah?
doing well. I know it's late in your parts of the world, but I appreciate the fact that you could at least stay with us for a little bit and participate in the discussion. I have so the questions I have are some fun ones. I hope that the chat will. I'm certain they will chime in on. I'm certain of it. But certainly some questions and some fun stats that I would like to bring up or at least have this discussion on. And the most notable was the one that I went back and forth with K-Mac on Frank's show earlier, and that is, does the chat and do you yourself, JK, do you believe we are a better team without Trent or with Trent? Well, we got Brian involved in this too now. Brian's going to join.
Yeah.
Brian's going to join as well. Big up.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Greetings and salutations. Big up, Red for Life. I see you, Red for Life, in the house.
A lot of City fans popping up tonight.
I like it. Hey, that's cool. I like it. City fans, Newcastle fans, Manchester United fans, Tony Cruz fans. Anybody that wants to be a part of the discussion is more than welcome to take part, for sure. But I would like to see what it is. Do you think, and I asked JK, I'm gonna ask you as well, Brian, to comment on this point. Do you believe we are a better team without Trent Alexander-Arnold? And if we are a better team without him, does that mean that there is no place for him in the back line? I didn't say midfield. I'm just saying the back line, as obviously being his right back / inverted fullback position. JK, what is your opinion on that?
Okay, bless Brian. I hope you're well, bro.
Yeah, all good, man. How are you?
I'm all good, bro. All good. What I was gonna say about Trent, I think we're at that. We're in the position with Trent now where the guy needs to find out what's he gonna do this season, because we've got a title to win, and I feel him not really. Actually, he was injured. He got injured after he was playing pretty well. I think. Do you reckon we rushed the guy back, or do you reckon he's okay? That's the question right there. Was he fit for the Arsenal game?
I don't think he was.
I don't think he was. And that's what it is, bro. I think I don't like rushing players. Okay, he's going to take an extra 2 weeks, but I'd rather wait that and then rush him, then he's back in the same situation he was a few weeks ago, So Botzley, another guy, for example, maybe he was rushed back too quick. We don't know, So this injury situation this season is another. Ever since the guy from Arsenal came to us, injuries have not been going on a crazy level, and I feel that this is the one situation that we as a club need to fix ASAP, because I wouldn't say it's costing us money. We're buying players who are going to get injured for 2 months in the whole season. Why are they getting injured? Now these questions need answering big time.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I think there might be a larger question as to what is going on with our medical staff, what is going on with the nutrition, the health and nutrition portions of that staff. What's going on with the rehabilitation. All those different aspects. They're all different levels. They're all different people that are involved in those roles. But that's a big question. It was a question for me last year, to tell you the truth. It was a big question for me last year as well. But Brian, what are your feelings? Do you feel as though that Trent has foregone his value for us and is no longer no longer someone that we find necessary to participate in our efforts here, or do you think otherwise?
No, I'm not sure who brought it up, but the 100%, 1000%, absolutely not. I mean, we spoke about it afterwards last night. How much of an issue it is. How it's not just a simple, straightforward, play him here or play him there. But the idea that we might be better off without him, I think, is completely crazy. He brings so much. Yeah, like it's such a difficult conversation because there's so many angles to it, and ifs and buts and maybes, and we do this, do that. But the guy's quality, I think, if you were to put him on the open market tomorrow, there wouldn't be a club in world football that wouldn't be talking to his agent. So that should tell you everything you need to know. But
right.
It's it's the emergence of kids that are great and all that, but I just think we're still going to be talking about him in 5 years, how to get the best out of him, whilst also still having a fantastic player. He's not someone I could ever countenance actually saying like that we're better off without him. But it's also been shown that we're not a one-man team. So it's like saying, oh, look, we played really well without him. I just think that just shows that, yeah, we can play really well without him, but we can play better with him in the team. And I think he was rushed. I think he was, yeah. I'd go along with that. I think the fact that he came off that early, that meant that he was definitely not fit. And it didn't work. It was Arsenal. It didn't work. But maybe, I don't know, where do we go? Like, where's the idea? Someone gives you 200 million. Your team isn't going to, like, the team wouldn't go up in flames if he's not there tomorrow.
Right.
But yeah, I wouldn't sit here and say, oh, we've shown now that we're better, we're out, or we're this or that. No chance. Absolutely no chance.
So, how's the music go? Dun 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 dun. Okay. So with that said, there is the introduction of Bayesian Angel and his theme music.
What's up, guys?
I don't know if he's gonna be like using that kind of like respirator style. But yes, the dark side has made a presence today. Big up, Bayesian Angel. How are you?
What's up, everyone? I hope everyone's okay.
Easy, bro. All good, bro.
So
I didn't catch you guys' opinion on the game and stuff on Sunday. I don't think I was on the chat when you guys reviewed the game. What the quick thoughts of like what you guys thought about the game on Sunday and stuff? Just to get your heads on it. Like, I don't want to get touch into it too deep and stuff. I just wanted to know where your headspace is at in regards to like the game performances and what did you expect from the game, to be honest, going in the game and stuff. So
I think that, the quick answer for me is that, we missed out on an opportunity to put Arsenal to bed, in the sense of like, as in them being any type of contention and any hopes of being in contention for this title race. I don't necessarily think that they are, but I mean, we could have made a real statement game by beating them at the Emirates, but we didn't. We should have had more, I guess, this fight and hunger to make that happen, but we didn't. And it's a game, so I just say, if anything, we move on. We had a poor performance, and we move on. We can't dwell on the past that really with this in the fact that we are in 4 competitions. I'm looking at it as, hey, you know what? Win the rest of our games, and we win the title. The solution hasn't changed. Win the rest of our games, and we win the title. Period. Plain and simple.
Okay.
Me, Chris, I went into that game thinking, 3 points, but I realized the energy-wise, Arsenal fans they're probably doing a Ouija board outside the stadium, and I think everyone wanted to see us to lose. Everyone wanted us to lose. It was just Virgil and Alisson, like they escaped prison, and they just like Alisson was on a mad run that day as well. And I think them two performances there cost us the result.
Mm.
But it's okay. We got Burnley next Saturday, so I'm on a good 3-4-0 there. So that's okay.
I need a 5-0. I want a 4-5-0. I want to make up that point, that the goal difference, because goal differential might come back to haunt us if we don't, focus on that. So I want to make sure we pick up the points the goals we lost. But go ahead, Brian. What were your thoughts?
Total zombie performance, Chris. They may as well have been sat on the bus for all the good they did. It was like, any way you want to put it, it was like they were on low power mode. 20% low power.
Yeah,
they could move, but they couldn't run. They were part of the game, but they weren't really in the game. They were standing there, and there was a game of football going on. Really, one of the most disappointing games for a long time now, because that's the ones you expect them to turn up for. You expect them to turn up for all of them, but you really expect them to turn up for that one. And yeah, it was just like someone pulled the plug on it. It was just bizarre to watch how not uninterested they were, but they just couldn't get into that game from minute one. Never got into it, and I don't think the team kind of picked itself, and there wasn't much left, much fat on the bone afterwards. It was pretty much picked what we had, and it didn't really work. It wasn't nice to watch. It was so. I basically put it down as like, you can't play worse than that. Like, that's a rock bottom one, so you can only move on. But yeah, it's just massively, massively disappointing would be my main takeaway from it.
But that's the thing, though, right? Like, there's only one way. There's only one way to go when you're down, right? It's up, right? So once you're in the bottom and stuff, you can only go up top. You can only go up and stuff. So hopefully, there's a statement win on when we play again on Saturday, Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we leave that performance in the past, and we do what we have to do on against Burnley and stuff. And I guess in regards to your question, right? Was it in regards to Trent, right? Does he have a future with us and stuff?
Yeah, because I'll bring up this real quick.
Is this based on?
For instance, this is like there's been a lot of discussions being made on Trent on a lot of different channels, especially, but in a lot of the different socials. I've seen this trend start to pick up a little bit, in that people saying we should sell Mo Salah, people saying that we should sell Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Okay.
I mean, here's a shout from Steven, who I respect, saying we should sell all three of Mo, Trent, and BVD for $50 million.
Okay, so all right, let's tackle this like straight on and stuff, right? We don't even know who our next manager is, and we're talking about selling players.
Exactly.
And you know me, I'm down to be negative. I am. Like, it's just natural for me. We're running before we're crawling right now, and that to me doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I get, and this is the thing. I was talking to Brian earlier on Quasi's Ball in the chat and stuff, and it's like, we got to be very careful what we say. And I know sometimes I have wild takes and stuff like that, but when we start questioning a player's desire, a player's body language, without understanding the meaning of what you're saying and stuff, it's crazy to me and stuff, because you start questioning someone's desire to, you know what I mean? Like, it's very scary, because for the past year or two, right, since we last season we started doing the inverted system, if I'm correct, right? Was it last season the inverted system started happening, right?
The last 8 games of the season, yeah.
Right. So
when we knew the title was shot and gone, he said, "Fuck it, I'm changing the tactics now."
Exactly, right. So the moment that happened, there was a narrative that was put out that apparently Trent doesn't want to play right back. He wants to play in midfield. That's what started this stuff, right? And that's a very scary thing to do and stuff. because now when things go well, it's okay for him to play in that position. But when things go bad, we start questioning his body language and stuff, and that doesn't make sense to me.
That's utilizing narratives to fit
You know what I mean?
agendas, and that's why I'm bringing up this question, Chris. That's why I bring up this question, because like realistically to me, that's what it sounds like. As in, look, to question his attitude or if he's committed, that's silly. The guy, one, just had a knee injury, right? Where if anything, a player normally will say, "Oh well, I'm thinking about the longevity of my my career. I'm not going to think about just, oh, can I make this game just to like, you know, because it's a big game or whatever it might be the impact of." Normally, a player is going to think about their own personal safety and the longevity of their own careers.
Of course.
And to say that Trent doesn't have, like, you know, the heart and desire and commitment to this campaign is silly, because the guy, again, is coming back from an injury. You can see his fitness wasn't at the level that we normally have the expectations of, but the sheer fact that he wants to play means something. The sheer fact that he's out there putting in the extra work and trying to hurry up, or if anything, like, you know, make the recovery time a smaller recovery segment, so he can be a part of this team, because he knows his team does necessarily need him. That makes a difference.
Well, 12 man, this comes back to the doctors. Like,
yeah,
this is what we're talking about. Like, every player, yeah, look, they want to get out there on the pitch always, but they will not play if they don't pass the medical. Like, if the doctor says he's not ready to play, like like this is what me and Chris were talking about earlier. Like, we shouldn't ever try and get inside a player's head and say, oh, he's thinking this, he's thinking that, because negatively or positive, like, you say, oh, his body language, like, he doesn't look right. Well, you don't know what he's thinking, you know. So we don't. No, I know, but we were talking about it earlier on. But it's like, so when these guys go to the doctor, then it's like, okay, yeah, Klopp will be told, yeah, you can pick him. Basically, that's how it works. It's like he's available for selection, no matter how fit he is. So this comes back to what we're saying. The guys that are making these decisions, did they give Dom the green light too soon? Did they give Brent a green light too soon? Or was there a little bit of pressure? You know, because don't forget, this is how it works. It's the real world. Like, Klopp can go into the doctor and say to Chris, like, hey, Chris, is this guy ready for the weekend? And Chris goes, well, he could play, but I'd rather he had 2 weeks off. And he goes, Chris, is he ready for the weekend at Arsenal? And he'll make it clear that if you can say yes, he'd like you to say yes. You know, I need this kid.
But that's known though throughout.
And that comes down, it comes down to let's how strong is your doctor saying no, he can't play. You know, and or how good is the manager to say, okay, no, the doctor said you need 2 weeks. I'm not going to pressure.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? So this is where I'm a bit confused, because it's okay. I feel like everyone has an opinion, right? So we're allowed an opinion. So if we want to sit there and question Trent, which we have a right to question Trent, his desire or whatever, or his fight, or his wanting to be in that position, right? Then on the flip side, and if you really believe that, then what do you expect from Trent? Because for me, if let's say, for example, this is all true, this is all speculation. If it's true, to sit there and say he doesn't want to play the right back position anymore, he doesn't have the desire to play in that position anymore, for me, he can't be vice captain for me.
I don't think he's demanding it. I think he would like to play in a different position, but I don't think he's going to go to a manager and demand it.
No, of course, but I'm saying, like, just speculation, how like the fan base is thinking and stuff. If he doesn't want to play in that position, and he's apparently, because that's what people are saying, he spoke to Klopp already, he's made his intentions clear apparently. If that's the case, and that's how he's playing, or that's his excuse the word body language, because I explained it earlier in Quasi and stuff, body language and stuff. Then he shouldn't be vice captain. He shouldn't be on the pitch. Because that mentality is that's not a good mentality to have and stuff as one of the leaders in the squad and stuff. If you're gonna sit there and mope around and stuff and not perform and stuff. But people don't want to have that conversation, so they want to sit there and say he doesn't have the desire or whatever, but then they want to still play him or do you still want him in the squad and stuff? For me, it doesn't coincide and stuff. So it's either one or the other and stuff. It's either one or the other and stuff.
I think with Trent, he's at that level now where he wants some show business. He's got a new Predator contract. He's doing fashion shoots, so he's at that phase of his career now. If you understand where the money's coming in and everything, and I think he needs to concentrate on one thing. Which position is he going to play for Liverpool? Because we've got a league title to win, and I've been saying that for a long time now. I think the Sunday's body language.
Oh wait, sorry, JK. I wanted to say something and stuff before because there was a stream that you were on, 12th man, that frustrated me and stuff.
Okay.
And I think you stood up on your own though. I really appreciate you did what you did and stuff that day. It was against K-Mac or something. I don't remember what show it was.
Okay.
But there was a point where he said something about Trent doesn't work or whatever. He doesn't work anymore, something like that. And apparently,
yeah.
Remember that episode? It was something about Trent doesn't work anymore in that position, and then apparently it's Klopp's job to motivate the players, right? I'm like, what the F? Are these children? Are these kids? That's something I do for my kids. These are grown-ass adults. This is the biggest game of the season so far and stuff. They need to be motivated and stuff. Well, what is going on here? Well, what is going on here and stuff? You know what I mean? And then in regards to Trent, I understand that, right? For you to sit there and say Trent hasn't worked in that position is ridiculous because we've won what we've won with Trent there. Now there's a difference between saying he doesn't work in that position or going forward it doesn't work anymore. Maybe he just found out and stuff. Maybe just teams just know the fact that our right hand side is just weak in regards to Trent's ability to go forward and stuff and leave space and stuff. It might not work going forward, but it doesn't mean that he's useless in that position or it just has never worked because it has worked.
Yeah, it worked. You know what? When you watch the home games, quickly, when he's playing right back and we're on top of the opposition, have you noticed Trent's position in most of the game? He's right in front of the Virgil and Konate. He's playing like a number 6, and that's when he gets that free roll. So that's showing us where he wants to play. He wants to play in front of, get the ball around that area, in that sort of area. He don't want to play on the right back position no more, And I can understand it because he's got more in his bag.
You got to be careful what you say there. So he doesn't want to play we don't know that though. We can't put that narrative out there. And
can't put those words in his mouth yet. Until he comes out and says, "I don't think I should be playing right back," because again, but until he actually comes out and says it himself. But wouldn't rush to judge it. We're assuming a lot of stuff. And look, obviously he wants to play midfield. Yeah, but until someone comes out and says, "Oh, Trent came to the board today and said, I demand in inverted commas to play in midfield," I think he's going to look at it. But based on comment, this is not going to matter in a matter of months. We could have a new manager come in, and this Trent involved role is no longer even a conversation because he's doing something totally different.
Exactly.
And Klopp's not going to change.
No, I was just going to quickly say, Brian, that Chris, that Trent doesn't have to say he wants to play midfield. He shows us in the game he wants to play midfield. If you understand my point. He's actually I'm going with that flow. But
my easiest pushback, though, again, this is what I just I had a confrontation. I guess it's not really a confrontation, but a debate, a showdown with K-Mac just earlier, and one of the topics one of the statements that he said was, Trent doesn't play well with Dom. It's in I don't like it when people go, it's just a fact and everything else. And we're just supposed to just leave it alone. But
12th man, just to interject it real quick because I just it's getting me built up and stuff. I'm getting frustrated.
Do it. All right, the dark side's coming out. I got you.
Because it's so the sample size of it not working is 6 months? 6 months? That's the sample size we're doing, 6 months.
No. If anything, I'm trying to get across what I was about to get into is that the sample size is selective. That's the problem when you get into some of these conversations with people and the narratives and agendas that they press. But often is the case is that the sample size for Trent isn't necessarily a good sample size to say he doesn't work well or this or that. This was what, our second loss in the leagues, this year. I would say one against the PGMOL and one, one of the care of obviously Arsenal. And if you're going to go far as back as this, bring it back to last year when we implemented Trent as an inverted role on this team, it made a considerable difference in our approach and in our results. I've been stressing enough that I get that people don't want to use stats. I get it. I test the stats, people, cool. I get when people go as far as they say they don't want to utilize like the sample size that you're suggesting, Beige and Angel, in the sense of saying, well, then where are we judging this off of? Are we judging it off of this year? Are we judging it off of when he actually became an inverted fullback for us? Are we judging it from his whole presence of playing right back for us? Like, where and how are we judging the progress in the status of Trent at this role for us? And when I got into the discussion with K-Mac had gone as far as to say, we don't work well when Trent is in the system with Dom. And then yet I had to bring up the stats to say the difference. And that is like all the games, there's so many games that we've won on pretty much solely on the back of the creativity of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I can say that honestly because I solely think that the football's a team game. I'm not saying that it was completely this whole entire season as a result of Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I am saying that he's a major component in our success this year. And to overlook that, I think, is a little bit disingenuous.
So I love Liverpool and stuff, which I cool guy, cool people and stuff like that. But the one thing I do agree with is the fact that, not to get into the body language thing, because we can be here all day and stuff, because that's what I used to do in my old job, if people know and stuff. But there seems to be an issue. I don't know if it's because I don't want to question hunger or desire, but there's certain games, like for example, the Arsenal game when he was just walking back. When there's certain games where he just seems to not engage when it comes to defensive work, which is weird because when you look at his stats, and you're the stat guy, he's good, right? So I don't know if it's the eye test that's clouding our judgment, or is it the stats that kind of cover up? Because I also feel like stats can also cover up deficiencies in your game as well.
No, but I was going to ask, like, so I get that we ended up drawing the game against Brighton, for instance, but I thought that he played well defensively against Brighton. I thought that Trent has stepped up his game defensively from the very beginning of the season. Yes, there were some lapses of focus, and ended up in resulting in poor results for us. But I personally think that you've seen a re-emergence of Trent, knowing that, yes, it's important for me to play defense. I get that. But also what it is with Trent too, and this is something that Klopp might be providing him the get out of jail free card for, at least when it comes to the responsibilities of defense, is that he is putting him in a position where he's saying, yes, I want you to go roam the midfield or be a part. Like how there were times when we would see Trent basically in the front line, in essence, Yeah. So like, if you're telling a player that, yes, you have the ability to roam and go forward as much as forward as you want and dictate as being possible, that means we're going to obviously put a more higher emphasis on defense, whether it's Dom, whether it's Konate playing, obviously covering that position of the field. But also, even when he does draft back or track back, excuse me, him playing that inverted role, it's set up so that he can either track back and fall in between Konate and Virgil, or he can track back and do the more traditional right back, positional coverage and take on whoever he has to take on.
The inverse system is technically to play in a box of four, right?
And that's the part and point of what I'm trying to get off too, is that people don't recognize the fact that the main reason why we went to an inverted system wasn't because we were trying to figure out how can we get Trent Alexander forward for his offense. No, if anything, we were trying to figure out how to stop us getting outnumbered in the midfield. City has done that by doing a box four, okay, a midfield box four. That was Pep's solution to his midfield not getting overrun numerically, by the sheer numbers of people involved in the midfield. So that's the reason why he was bringing Stones or whoever it was, Bernardo Silva, whoever it was in for that box four. We created that system and we said, who's the best featured to be able to provide that? And that ended up being Trent Alexander-Arnold. So therefore we had a box four with him being that inverted system. Now I get that creates an even bigger gap on our right side technically, but we also now have the ability to say from our six and from Trent, when necessary, they can fall back and provide extra coverage for that back line. It just so happens that we're normally on the front foot, but
exactly.
At least that provides that back front. At least it's supposed to, in theory, provide coverage for our center backs, for that right back position, for all these different little places, these pockets that we're creating by having Trent go forward. And on top of that, let me say this too. When we do set up in the format that we are with this box four, at least with him being in the midfield, when we are in that formation, the sheer brilliance and emergence of Konate has been huge for us this year. He's taken on a lot of duties, albeit some more than people want to see him be taking on, but he's played immense for us lately. We've seen the difference in our team when Dom is not in that right midfield position. Considering we are a team that primarily has the majority of our offense be tailored towards going to the right side. When you all of a sudden take out Mo Salah, when you all of a sudden take out Dom, when you all of a sudden have to put these pieces with players that normally you're not expecting to see. I'm not expecting to see Cody Hackbo in the right spot. I'm not expecting to see Diego in the right spot. I'm not even really expecting to see Elliott in that right wing spot. Okay. But I mean, these are the players that we're having to be somewhat forced to put in those spots with Mo Salah not there. When it comes to the midfield, midfield, I'm gonna land here.
Okay.
I'm not. I know I'm being long-winded. I'm sorry. But the last part is when it comes to our right midfield, that's normally where we would see Dom primarily be featured. On occasion we'll see Elliott there. But in this last game that everyone's utilizing as their sample size to say thumbs up or thumbs down on the future of Trent or the future of this formation, just for this year at least, I think it's not a good game to do it off of, considering those key components aren't there. They're just not there. And this is the player, again, coming back from injury. And I think that was relevant too.
I agree with. It's kind of rare that we agree on things. I agree with what you just said.
Right.
But
hold on. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Okay, I got it. I wanted to make sure I timestamped that.
Okay. Oh, wow. So I agree with everything you just said, right? So we didn't have certain players to play the positions that we normally play in. We have players on AFCON. We have players in the Asian Cup. Blah blah blah. I get all that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe certain players aren't used to playing with others. I get all that. But the one thing we shouldn't be questioning is the desire to fight.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not saying that.
There was no fight. That's my main issue and stuff. And when the tough gets going, for me, that's just my motto. Your leaders need to step up. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go into like body language and all this stuff. When your leaders are there, they need to step up. I expect more from Trent.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. You are the vice captain. You are the number 2. Where people look at you, they look at you for answers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Van Dijk had a horrible game, and I know a lot of people are not talking about it. Horrible game. Allison, horrible game and stuff. So when you have your leaders not playing into the level that you want them to play or what they normally play, it sends a signal down the spine of the team.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
is degrading. It is degrading. So you see Trent performing the way he does. You see Van Dijk performing the way he does. You see Alisson make the blunder he did. It's going to send the spine. You're fighting you're fighting a battle you can't win.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I think the mindset wasn't correct going
Mm-hmm.
into the game. We all saw the game and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like Brian said, it looked like we didn't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I don't want to do as a team, to sit there and question the desire to want to win or fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We all knew how big this game was. Like, it's okay to lose. Like, I'm perfectly fine with losing. If you're going there and you're fighting and stuff to the ground and stuff, sometimes teams are just better than you, and that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But I shouldn't sit here
on that day.
Yeah,
I don't think Arsenal's a better team than us, but on that day.
But on that day, right? But
right.
But we can only take it a game at a time, right? But they wanted it more than we do.
That's
We shouldn't be here talking about there was no fight, and we sit here and we talking about these players are world class and stuff.
Yeah,
they wanted it more than us. Simple as.
That's the thing. I'm not gonna sit here and, like, on Sunday I did say a bunch of craziness and stuff, but when you sit back and you analyze the situation better, it's like it came down to fight. I don't give a shit about tactics. I don't give a shit about all that crap. That's not my thing.
Right.
But
right.
Fight. Yeah, man.
The hunger, man.
But the tactics though are important though, because if anything, a manager needs to put players into the right positions. I know this might come back to haunt me by making a statement.
But
the tactics matter.
Sorry to cut you off before I let everyone else talk, because I've been speaking a lot. Brian, I think, mentioned it and stuff. I think it was one of the streams that I saw Brian on, but he mentioned it or in the chat. Klopp isn't going to change his tactics. He's leaving. This is what we are, whether we like it or not. This is it. He's not going to change formations. He's not going to change tactics. This is what it is.
Exactly.
The least we can do as players is have fight. That's all. Yeah, there's going to be little tweaks here and there, but to expect formation changes and all this stuff, it ain't going to happen. It's too late.
It's not.
It's too late.
Right.
So you guys can talk and stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, just with what. Exactly. Yeah, no, sorry. Just what Chris is saying and 12th Man is saying there. Yeah, it's right and wrong. Like 12th Man, yeah, you're right, but it's also, of course, tactics are important. Of course they are. No one's saying they don't matter. But what Chris is saying, what I'm saying, is like Roy Keane will tell you this. The guys that go out there and battle, these guys, they'll tell you, you can have the best tactics in the world, but if you don't show up, it doesn't matter. That's what we're saying. It didn't matter what he did. If you don't show up and you don't have the fight, and you're not ready to do all that stuff, you can have the best tactics in the world, and they can have the most basic, and they'll just overrun you if you're not there. If you don't, literally, we've all seen it, like in every sport and every game. Like, that's what is almost kind of encouraging about this performance, because it was just so bad that there was just something wrong. That's not us. If I was sitting there going, yeah, that's typical Liverpool, we do that every second or third week, we're always like that, that would be a problem for me. But that was just like, I'm saying, that looked like the under-21s team that showed up or something. And that's the thing, is when it ain't going your way, or if the other team is having a better day, the first thing, number one, is hard work. You run harder than them, you run faster than them, you run more than them, you outrun them, and then you outfight them, and then you might get some football going on. But we didn't have any of that. Like, I keep going back to it, it looked like we were just unplugged, which is why that can't happen again. And I think it's got something to do with this, the fact that Klopp is leaving, and there was such a big energy bounce afterwards. I spoke about this last night, that they were on a high, and that came down to earth with a serious bump.
Adrenaline. It's adrenaline, Brian. Adrenaline.
It wore off. I was saying it to the guys last night, so I don't want to repeat myself too much. But McAllister was saying it was like this kind of let's win everything for the boss before he goes kind of vibe. I was like, that can only last about 2 or 3 games at most. you actually need to play football. We can't do it on vibes and, energy and adrenaline. So I just think, this will have to be a serious kind of rock bottom moment where everything gets to be, even what music they were listening to on the bus. I mean, everything needs to be looked at. What went wrong on Sunday?
Exactly. Psychological.
Everything right down to the very bottom of what way did we have dinner? What did we do? Where did we lose that motivation, that energy? Where did it go? Because this wasn't one of those, oh, look, it was a game you can lose, yada, yada. This was a big one. And we got some stick earlier on Rod's channel. There was a Man City fan. He was saying, why are you letting these guys back in? It was there to beat them and, make it just about Liverpool and City for the rest of the season. Now you're after letting these guys back in again, making it this and that. And it's kind of like, it's not our job to do their job. But we, like I said, that was just so goddamn disappointing. We take all away, take the stats away, take the results away, take the noise away. That was just so goddamn disappointing.
But
that was the main emotion.
But you could say, but I could understand everything. I can understand. Yeah, I can understand that. I'm not contending anything that you said, actually, Brian. But what I will say in defense of the club, and look, I'm not defending the fact that we lost, but the sheer fact is, like, to that City guy that called in on that other show, you know what? City, you could have beaten them too. Look, Arsenal has played well at home. They beat Arsenal this year has beaten us and City at the Emirates. So
I've been saying it all night. Props to Arsenal. Yeah, but it's what Chris said. If we had lost that 4-3 because we went toe to toe, that's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
That's fine. If we lose it, if we lost it 1-0 because we went toe to toe, that's fine.
It's the way we lost. It's the way we lost.
It's not even the way we lost. It's the way, 12 man. It's the way we didn't even show up. I know maybe that doesn't count yet. I'm not gonna. Maybe it doesn't probably translate that well, I think, but it's a phrase in England. We didn't show up.
Yeah.
That means literally, like, it just from minute one, it was just there was no. It's just like there was no match. There was no game. It was like, can we just play that again, please? So if you go out and you play toe to toe, or you get whatever, it's just like, nah, man. Where was the we're not going to lose this at all costs kind of energy? That was the disappointing part of it.
That's the thing, right? For me, my issue is, like, we always put ourselves in a position to make things difficult for us. Always. When we need to win, or we're close to glory and stuff, we've come short. Too many draws, too many losses. It always happens. And yes, there's context and stuff like that, and people will bring up stats, but it's resembling like we're gonna lose the title by a point again. It just seems like it, because it just always happens and stuff. Like, we're looking at 2018, 2019, 7 draws, 1 loss. We lost the title by 1 point. 2021, 2022, 8 draws, 2 losses. We missed the title by 1 point. Right now, there's no wiggle room right now. 2023, 2024, 6 draws, 2 losses, 15 games to go. We technically have to be perfect.
Usually with them, you do, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
with my point of what I'm saying is that with City, that's normally what you have to do, and I agree with that. I'm not dismissing the fact that with City and the way that their team is composed, we always have to be next to perfect, if not perfect, for the majority of the year. And
that's not normal. It's not normal.
And that's not normal. However, I can say in our defense that it'd be a different story if we had the run of we can't even get close to the run of patch of games that Arsenal had, for instance, this year. Arsenal, we gave them chess by beating us. I get that. Again, Arsenal has shown up in the games against City and us at home, which they should, and they have. Kudos to them. But why I'm bringing this up is because, like, Arsenal also had a period where they had 3-4. They had a 5-game run where they drew, had like 2 or 3 losses in a row. City again has had a very similar case of that, in which they lost a couple of games and drew a couple of times. a bunch of times, unlike a City team that we expect to see. I'm just trying to get across that, like, I am acknowledging the fact that we did not show up and play well and get what we should have been setting out to do, which is get a W, end the Arsenal threat, make a statement, move on. But I think more so for me, it's more so for me a bigger testament of what we see in these next upcoming games. In these next upcoming games, if we see that defeatist attitude that you're talking about, if we see this like sunken chest that they're still like, holding on to that loss, if we see these moments of where people have said, where people aren't giving the effort and showing the commitment to winning, then that's a story. That's a conversation.
No, that's the if. Yeah, that's the if. That's the big if. It's just if we're talking about what happened yesterday, it's like, can you address Nilante's comment there? I'd be interested in knowing, especially.
But for me too, for me as well and stuff is like
this one.
I don't want to think about
Klopp's legacy.
I don't want to. Oh, sorry. What was it? I don't want to think about the Man City game because we're not there yet. We got to take it a game at a time.
Yeah, we got 3 games before Man City. We've got Burnley, Brentford, and Luton. Get those 9 points, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, everyone's talking about Man
City. Say that again. What games do we have again? I know we got Burnley. We got
Brentford,
Luton. Brentford and Luton. Brentford is away, I believe, right? Brentford's away, right?
Yeah, it's the early kickoff on the 17th of February. It's 12:30, and then on the 21st we play Luton at home on a 7:30 on a Wednesday night. That's the game that was rescheduled weekend, that was put into game week 25. So that's given us a double game week 25, and then the week after that we won't be playing in the league because we're playing the cup final, and then we come back and then we play. I think it's something at Forest and then City. So. Yeah, we should get them. Like, we should be looking at 9 points from Burnley, Brentford, and Luton, so that when we get to the City game, because the City game is the most important game, if we're at worst 1 point behind them. Like, if we lose to Brentford, if we lose to freaking Brentford and Luton, holy hell.
Then it's a
but
wrap.
if we lose to those games and they win them, it doesn't matter. We're 6 points. So
doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we got to get and. Like you said, it's you just got to be perfect these days. But I'm interested. I know JK. I was wondering what you think about Nilante's comment, because I know JK, you haven't.
Wait, I'm looking for Nilante's comment. Where is it now? So this one right here. Is this one?
Yeah. If we don't win anything this season, will Klopp's legacy be in?
You got to say that.
Yes, absolutely. If we don't win anything this season, being the fact that we had the title in our hands, and and that's if. These are all ifs. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying I co-signed the fact that we're not going to win. I'm still co-signed to the Europa Quad thing. But if something were to happen and we weren't able to win the League Cup, if we weren't able to win the FA Cup, if we weren't able to win the Europa, if we weren't able to win the league this year. Yeah, those would be knocks, because you know what? I think if there's ever a time and an opportunity to win the quad, it is now. I get that someone's going to push back and say this isn't a real quad or whatever. Cool, whatever. Have at it. But this opportunity is our most opportune opportunity to win 4 titles. We don't have to face Chelsea is what it is. That's the team you have to face in the League Cup. With the FA Cup, you know what? Like, I get that with the FA Cup and the league, especially with City, let's not keep it like people act as if City doesn't have hopes and aspirations of winning the Champions League. Okay? People act like these teams aren't involved in other competitions as well. They are in competitions where they're not going to have the opportunity or the luxury to rotate the same way that we are going to be able to rotate our lineups. I would like to get a lot of these players back towards fitness and everything else. That makes a difference. So there's a lot of variables. That's what I'm trying to get across. There's a lot of variables in all of this working out. There's no guarantee that we win anything, but there is certainly a higher probability this year that we can accomplish this goal more so than any other year. We're not going to be facing Real Madrid in the finals of the Europa. Okay, we're not going to. Those kinds of concepts aren't there. That's what I'm trying to get across. As in,
well, just to Alante's question, if so, we take that as the if is complete. Would anybody think? And JK, I think JK, I'd be anxious to hear what you think. Is Klopp's legacy in doubt if we did win nothing? Like if you only left with what he already has, because I don't.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. When you look at it, what he's actually put us in positions to win everything, and what it is, I always say it's up to the players. It's like when you got Champions League finals, yeah, the managers got you there, and you have as well. But it's up to the players in them 90 minutes. And I think now, Virgil, Trent, all these guys, they've been there, done that. They got to win this league title for him. And I think if he wins it, and then he goes, I think his legacy will look better. But if you don't win it this season, I don't think he's really did what he could have done. And you have to also look at the owners. Look how much money Pep's got had, and how much Klopp's had to spend on. We went through the numbers before, me and 12th. Crazy difference between them two clubs, and that we're meant to be their rivals. So
night and day difference.
And that's why I got a bit of leeway with Klopp. I give him. I say, you know what, the guy ain't had big money to spend. He spent an average on 40 million on a player. So for me, Klopp has to win it this season.
So it wouldn't be. It wouldn't put it up for debate. Sorry, Chris. It wouldn't put it up for debate for me. That's all I'll say. He's already done is almost enough for me. I think he's come as close as nobody. United City don't get those points if we don't get 92 points and 97 points because they don't need to. They're winning them on 88. We pushed those guys, and you look at the money. I think it's really, really harsh to say he should have won more. I think the only thing he could possibly have done more in is cup finals, not league, because we've lost a few cup finals on them. But I think it is the fact that he got that one league title. For me, I wouldn't say his legacy would be up for debate. No, not for me, but I can understand.
So
yeah, why some.
So my take on it, right? I'm gonna go a little bit too far left and stuff, right? That's just the way I am. But when we were in a position of power, I don't know if people understand that saying. We were in a position of power when we won the Champions League, when we won the league. It was our time. It was our time to strengthen. It was our time to change tactics, but we didn't do it. So who is it to blame for that?
During the legacy or during the runs that
during our time, I say the pinnacle of Liverpool Club was when we won the Champions League and the league. That was it.
The good times, yep.
That was it. That was the pinnacle and stuff. And it was the owner's jobs. It was Klopp's job to maintain that level, and stuff. But something happened there. I don't know whether it was Klopp not wanting players or the owners didn't want to loosen their pockets. But we started rebuilding.
I don't know either.
Until
the book comes out, I don't think any of us will know.
Well, we started rebuilding the squad too late, in my opinion. We kept players too long for my taste and stuff.
Well, you're talking about, Chris, I think the year we won the Champions League, and that summer we signed Andy Lonergan, Adrian, and Sepp van der Berg. That's what
exactly. That to me
that's not position. That's not strengthening from a position of power.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. Because if we would have strengthened at that point, I'm not saying to buy 5 to 6 players. No, because it's unrealistic. But if we would have brought a midfielder in sooner then, or a defender in sooner then, the rebuild would have been done 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, so that was a week. That really was. You can dress any, you can put as much lipstick on a pig as you want, but that was a bad transfer window.
It was horrible.
We should have made at least one.
But I feel like the thing with FSG and Klopp, why I feel like they get along so well and stuff, is that instead of being proactive. They're very reactionary, and that's my issue. That's always been my issue with the man. That's always been my issue with FSG. Instead of being proactive, we're reactive.
Yeah.
Look at this summer.
Okay.
Look at the summer, for example. Henderson wasn't part of the plans to leave. Fabinho wasn't part of the plans to leave. Milner Klopp wanted Milner to stay and stuff.
Right. But he also had the conversation with Henderson to tell him that. He also had the conversation with Henderson telling him that we are going to be bringing in Dom, and your role on that side is going to be diminished, and you're going to have to play, if anything, a backup to Dom. And Henderson was not.
I don't want to talk about Henderson because my views on him have changed and stuff. I don't want to talk about Henderson because my views on him have changed over his.
Yeah. No, this isn't a. This is
those
a
guys were done anyway. They were finished. Milner and Henderson were done.
Yeah, but it's like his legacy. No, I can't sit there and look down on his legacy. Should we have one more? Yes. Who is it to blame for? FSG and Klopp. It's their fault. When you lose the title for a point twice. For me, that's a tactical issue. That's too many draws, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with Man City spending and stuff. Even though we can go there if we want, but that's to me, I don't really care about that.
I mean, are we having this conversation? Are we having this conversation if Villa and Villa can hold on to a 2-0 lead at the Etihad?
Yeah.
Are we having this conversation? Also, are we having this conversation? For instance, if the PGMOL calls the handball on Rodri in the box against Everton, are we having this conversation?
Man, we can't.
Are we having this conversation at the end of this year? Are we having this conversation? I'll end on this. Are we having this conversation if, and I think it's a high, I like the chances of it, but again, this is how I looked at it when I'm dealing with these Pep versus Klopp debates and should he have won more and yada, yada, yada. If Klopp wins the quad and drops the mic on that, is that not a testament of his career, having done something that no other coach in the Premier League history has ever done?
But he hasn't done it.
You're getting emotional.
I understand he hasn't done it. This is all speculation.
It's too big a thing. But it's too big. No, but that's too big in it, man. That's a huge. That's an enormous. Winning a quad is an enormous thing. I'm not saying. I don't need you to break it down for me how we can possibly win it. I'm just saying, winning a quad is a massive if to base the. I mean, let's, so if we win the quad final, it is a massive if.
How's it not a massive if? Let me just ask you a question. I'll let you land. How is it a massive if?
Ask the bookies.
Wait,
look at the bookies. Look at the bookies.
Go
to the bookies. I know what you're saying. I'll go to the book and see what the odds on winning the quad are. That'll answer your question. That's how big an if it is.
Odds are reflective of people betting on the actual.
I know what odds are, man, dude. I know what odds are. I mean, come on. Nobody wins quads. It doesn't happen. So it's like you're saying, if he wins a quad, that we can have that conversation. But I don't think he can use it as a let's talk about what would happen. It's like Manchester City won a treble.
Wait a minute. No. Wait, hold on. First off, we just spoke the whole question, the initial question, and I can bring it back up for you. Is what
if he wins nothing? I get it. I know what you're saying. If he wins nothing.
So
that was his question.
Hold on. Let me just voice my point. If he wins nothing, that was the question. But then me saying if he wins something, no, that's out of the question. That's a massive weirdo. That's not the case. If someone can say if he wins nothing,
I get you. What I was reading it as.
What I can say about if he wins something.
Well, what I was reading Elante's comment was as if he basically finishes on only the trophies that he's won so far, right? So those are the definitive positive.
Right.
That's the way I was like, if he finish, not like if he doesn't dream or if he doesn't win all these things. Like Nilante's question will be completely out the window if he
Yeah,
brings home
exactly.
4 trophies.
Exactly.
So it's like I know what you're saying. Yeah, if we go on and win this, this conversation is over.
Right.
If he
That's
goes
the
on,
reason why I'm not even having.
even if he wins 2, but even if he wins one, even if he wins 1 league title, he doesn't need to win 4 from. Even if he win 1 league title and make it 2 league titles, that would end any questions about whether he has a legacy or
Okay.
yada yada. Like I'm saying, for
Okay.
me, it's already his
Okay, now I get
legacy
what
is
you're saying.
already cemented. He's brought us from. He took us over. People need to look at the league table when he walked in the door. We just drew 1-1 with Everton. Look at where we are now. If you don't think his legacy is set in stone, I don't know what else to say. But that's just my opinion. As much as I enormously respect everything Nielante said, you know, obviously we don't agree on it, but I completely respect what he's saying. But it would only even take 1 more league title against this machine. I know people don't like to say, but this City machine, it's not something that anyone's ever had to put up with before. Oh, you got 97 league points and you didn't win a fucking league. That's just stupid. That's stupid. But that's what we've been up against, and no one else has been up against that in the modern era. And we've gone toe to toe with them in a way that nobody else has. So his legacy is making us all proud again, making us all have these kind of conversations again about whether we might win 4 trophies or not. When he came in, we wouldn't have been having a conversation about whether we could win the next 4 games, let alone the next 4 trophies. That's all I can say on his legacy.
Yeah, no, and that's all I'm not saying that it's a insurance. I was just saying, I was reading the comment, the fact of, and I'm hearing this a lot, is that I was reading the comment of, well, what if keyword if he doesn't win anything? How's that impact him? And I'm like, well, what if he does?
I totally get that.
Yeah,
I know, I totally
that's
get it. Yeah. No, it's totally cool. I totally get it.
All in all, the guy, he's been good for the club. I was at his first game when he won as a Liverpool manager. I was at the game, and I said, you know what, I'm so happy this guy's here. I was so happy, and ever since then, look at the things he's brought us through. He even got us to a Europa League final that season as well. He lost, remember?
What a game! Dortmund match, that Dortmund game alone with the Lovren.
That was registering.
Instant drama. Instantly, this is us again. This is Liverpool again.
That was
Brian,
Liverpool again.
I'm going to use one of Brian's. I think Brian was the one who brought up this point. I think it's an excellent point, but it's something similar to Manchester United these days. Okay, having had such a great coach in Sir Alex and bringing them glory and everything else for the longest period of time since Sir Alex has left. Manchester United has slowly but surely watched the altitude of their plane continue to go down and further down and further down to the point, and this is what I was referencing about Brian's comment. At least I believe, if I'm misquoting you or if it's not your comment, I apologize, Brian. I'll take credit for it then. But the comment was basically Manchester United, for instance, is going through what we went through during the 90s and during the 2000s, and maybe even somewhat the very beginning parts of the 2010s, which is we were like history merchants. Like only thing we could really talk about primarily was things that happened last decade or 2 decades ago or 3 decades ago, primarily as the counter to the banter that we would get, and I think that United is in that place now, whereas they've lost the aspects of winning titles. It's been so long since they've won a title, and even though they've pressed on from Sir Alex and brought in multiple coaches, whether it's greats like Marino or your Moises or your, he's not a great, but you know what I mean, like from that to the other level, they're still in that place where they're like talking about the only thing they have to hang their hat on is the treble. They sound like Arsenal when you talk to an Arsenal fan. The only thing they ever reference really primarily is the Invincibles.
I'll give him 4.5 seconds. Give an Arsenal fan 4.5 seconds, and they'll probably bring up the Invincible. That's
They'll
all
bring
it
up
takes.
Invincible. Exactly.
Yeah. That's all it takes,
Exactly.
man.
Like Rudy Giuliani when it comes to 9/11. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
you know,
take it easy.
don't want to get too
there.
political, right? I got you.
Don't go there, man. Oh man,
Don't go there. I got you.
Oh,
But that
man.
was his stick. Everything was like, you know, Rudy Giuliani could say three words without saying 9/11 in his sentences. But that's political. Okay, getting back to football. What it is for me is that it's just simply the resurgence of this beautiful club to me is so important. And when it comes to its legacy, the fact that people have found a renewance, I don't even know if that's a word, but a renewal, okay, of pride, a renewal of belief, a renewal of expectations, a renewal of a bar that we now have set so high to be on the lines and levels of a city, despite our previous like years of not ever really getting to that pinnacle, like they do. It's the fact that now he's changed those doubters to believers. That's more of like a beautiful legacy for me when it comes to this coach and a lot of the things, because I know I got I think it was Nigel was in the chat, or it was someone in the chat that was referencing about the fact of like, I made the comment of Jurgen Klopp has provided the best years of me watching this team play. And that's what I can say, because I started watching this team in the 90s. I didn't have the privilege of watching them during the 80s, during the 70s when they were winning, you know, titles for fun. Okay. You know, I joined this club when we went through some difficult times. I joined this club, watching this club when we had very, very problematic owners, you know, that pushed us to the brink of administration. I've watched this club go and beat possibly the greatest Italian team ever brought together in AC Milan in 2005. I've been through some very big highs and some very, very consistent lows, but yet I've always known that greatest thing about this team was the fact that, yes, we have heritage and history to draw off of, and the people that have been watching this game or watching this club longer than I would always be able to make that relevant and make me understand and appreciate that, and not get so mired into the fact that we were the greatest of teams during the 90s, you know? And then even when that credit in the bank started to run short, that's when Jurgen Klopp arrived. And that's when this team all of a sudden went from being maybe we win a League Cup, or maybe we do something, maybe we do have a crazy run in Champions League or something like that, to being, I expect our team to compete for the title. I expect our team to be involved in Champions League. I expect all these expectations started to arrive once again with this manager. And that's what I appreciate the most about it, is that he's brought real pride back into this club once again, in a club that has a long history of having pride and heritage. And I really do appreciate that he's done the best he can. That's my rant.
No, but
I know.
You're not the
I'll get
nail
off
on the
my
head there.
soapbox now and leave it at that.
It just kind of like shows like I'm actually very excited for like the life after Klopp, to be honest, because
Yeah,
I think whoever inherits the seat and stuff, they're in a good place. I think player wise, obviously, certain players I don't think is good enough in the squad, but I don't want to get there and stuff. But I think we have decent players there to kind of kick on and stuff. So I'm looking forward to who gets appointed and stuff, and what's the next step of our evolution. I think in a way.
But I think, you know, when you look at someone wrote in the comments, I think FSG could have helped Klopp more. Klopp's helped them more than they've helped him. And when you really look at it, he's done for them.
You can't really say that though.
No, I think, bro. I think when it comes to after the Champions League, Okay, we want to set dynasty start rolling there. What do? We bought Adrian. For me, that's the owners. So for me, Klopp has done what he could have done with what he could have get. And I reckon he's done okay in that way. But I feel if he was maybe 25% bit more pushed with money for better players, I think he would have more. 100%.
Just on that, I think I agree with JK. I 100% agree with JK, but I would just put it differently in that it's not that when people, not that it's FSG's fault, not that it's John Henry, it's the problem with the ownership model that we have. That ownership model, when you look at the infrastructure that is put in the club, and infrastructure, not in terms of human infrastructure, Klopp, Michael Edwards, Salah, Mane, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, that's human infrastructure. And then steel infrastructure, brand new stadium. Those Cowboys wanted to burn down Anfield and build a magic stadium in the middle of Stanley Park and share it with Everton. Said you can't expand Anfield, you can't build it, it's stuck where it is. FSG, no, they basically put another 20,000 seats on it without ever having to shut the stadium. Like we missed a couple of games. They built a brand new training ground under budget and on time for 50 million quid.
Yep.
Do you know what you get for 50 million quid today? You get nothing. You don't even get Calvin Phillips for 50 million quid. We got a state of the art world class, only opened 2 years ago, not 10 years ago. All of that brilliant. But their ownership model doesn't allow them to then go, right,
Big time, yeah.
here's 200 million in cash. Boom. Throw that in there now. Push on to the next level. Yeah, they definitely could have spent a bit more, maybe.
Sure.
More, maybe.
Sure.
No, I won't sit on the fence too much. Yeah, they could have gone a bit more. But it's just it's the ownership model that we have. I was always saying to people, look, stop basically baiting on FSG. We need to go to the next level. They put all these building blocks in place. We need some guy who's also going to go, yeah, and here's 200-300 million. But we've also seen now in the January transfer window, Newcastle with not the richest club and not the richest owners in the world, not as rich as everyone thinks they are, but they are massively wealthy.
Yeah.
They couldn't sign anybody. They would have had to sell somebody because FFP is starting to bite now.
Yeah.
It's like this is actually having to start ramifications. It's like they want to sell Bruno Guimaraes for 100 million quid so they can buy some football. Have that it's not necessarily we'd be able to go out there now. And the Chelsea thing has made it look like some people can. Chelsea's financial situation, I mean, just go and look that up yourself. There's hour-long videos on it. It's too difficult to get into why they can spend the money that they are. But they're going to get.
Don't you have to get rid of 100 million? I thought.
Yeah, they've got to work now. They've got to work now. They've got to make moves.
They've got to make moves. They got to spend 100 million off their books, basically.
Yeah. Well, even if we did have some sugar daddy, it wouldn't necessarily mean anything these days. Now, 10 years. That's what I was saying about the Saudis at FSG. You're 5 years too late, boys. You're 5 years too late. 5 years ago, if you'd gotten in the door, you could have thrown 800-900 million at that thing and paid it off down the line. Yeah. Now they can't. They could have done it a few years ago before it got too tight, and they'd be paying it off now and working it, and they'd have loads of amazing players. But now they can't even get started with let's just do a 400 million pound transfer window. No, sorry, you can't do it, lads. So even if we did have that guy now, so yeah, I get it. I totally wish that back in the day, I always said it's like we're absolutely perfect. FSG are absolutely brilliant. But if they could just find an extra 100 million a season in the summer, 80, just to sign that one extra player, that one extra bit that we just thought, we were always like, okay. I'm not expecting hundreds and hundreds of millions, but I just think that's just the problem with the ownership model. They wouldn't break it, and they're not putting us in a debt position. So it's all gravy and it's all good for the future. But football is about winning stuff now. And of course, we just love it. That extra player, that 80 million player. Oh yeah, look, we'll go out and do it. We can do it. We'll go out and do it. But I don't want this with 115 charges over either.
No, that's what I was going to get at too.
Well,
yeah,
that's the world we live in. That's just the world we live in. I think we played it straight, and I know a lot of fans would rather we, just did something else, and I know other fans are like, yeah, but why not just do this and that? It's like after 10, 12 years when we can all look back, and when you look at the mess some clubs might be in. Yeah, I know realism, Jared. It's not just good, but I just wish we had it in the bank. I just thought I just hope we were available. We would have had it there, just to be able to push that a little bit further. But we played it straight, lads. The way I look at it is we played it straight. We didn't cheat. We got the best people in, and we did everything we could. And I'll take that at the end of the day. If there's a few Lance Armstrongs out there, even if it means getting a letter in 5 years saying, well, actually, that gold medal was yours. Well, it's gone now. But look, I'm just happy we played it straight. We're not cheats, basically.
And that's Brian. And I'll let JK go chime in after me too. That's what I was. This isn't me trying to like sing some soliloquy to FSG. This isn't like me saying, oh, this isn't what this episode was going to be about or anything like those lines. But I can give credit where credit's due in the sense of like I am definitely until I'm proven wrong, at least by and who knows with some of the way that some of these sanctions work and the way that the Prem is going about really forcing these sanctions and forcing these people with their books to be on top of their books so much so immediately, and having the fines and sanctions happen during the season as opposed to waiting a season, which Everton got the fortunality of doing, because if they didn't, they would have been relegated last year. I just wanted to say that like I can at least appreciate the fact that my team is pretty set up for the future when it comes to flexibility with FFP, flexibility for all the things that you have that Brian mentioned, in the sense of like the training facilities, a new training facility that's built, obviously the extension of the grounds so that more fans can get involved into the grounds and everything. So additions to the stadium, like as in all these things are positives. And I get that, it doesn't help me in the sense of like winning me silverware per se, but it might attract someone because the facilities you're not in a cesspool of a hot tub or whatever R7 referenced the hot tub at Old Trafford, or as I like to call it, geriatric Trafford. Like those things are why you can make at least a little bit of a shout and appreciation of the place that we are in. I would love to have had $100 million players. I would have loved to have been able to get, big name signings. I would have loved to have gotten across the line in some of the seasons that we came up short. Absolutely. That's a no-brainer. But the sheer fact that our team is so well set up foundationally wise, in a case where one administration previously, we were close to getting administration for our club. None of this stuff would ever even become reality for us if we had gone that direction, if we had ended up in those straits and having the team, the ownership taken away, having the government in essence appoint people, have all these different I don't think we would be.
We did go into administration. We almost went into liquidation.
Liquidation.
They appointed RBS.
Right.
To take it over. Like that's how close. People don't realize. Like it was one court hearing away from Liverpool Football Club not existing.
Being liquidated. Right. That's what I mean by
And how far have we come? I mean, Jesus, like.
Yeah. No, and that's again during those 90s when the club was not in very good place. It was not a good time. And that was set up by owners that gave us all these different promises and all these different pledges and promises that they never ever honored, or pretty much ever got never really followed through on.
No, and I don't want to jump in again. Start jumping again, but those two guys are part of the reason that American owners have such a bad rep in England. Hicks and Gillette, they are part of the reason, because they are actually the stereotype. They came in like two total cowboys that had no idea. And there's that famous interview where the two of them are sitting down, and someone, it's like from Sky Sports, asks them, "What do you think it's going to do? What do you think it's going to take to change this club?" And George Gillette, George Gillette takes basically what must be about 50 grand in cash. It's an enormous ball of money, dollars out of his pocket. And he goes, "It's going to take a lot of that." And not anybody that remembers that interview, put it in the chat. I remember, or look it up on YouTube. It's literally like something, he's like J.R. Ewing out of Dallas, thinking this is going to impress these guys. It was from day one, it was like, these guys are just crazy. Like, look that up if you haven't seen it. It must be about $50,000. It's twice the size of his hand. And he's like, it's all clearly set up and staged. It's going to take a hell of a lot of this. And from minute one, like, they are the joke version of terrible American owners, and they are part of the reason. Like, when people wonder why FSG get a lot of stick from people, that's kind of part of it as well, because those guys,
absolutely,
they were like cartoon cards. They were like cartoon cards. They were actually like cartoon cards.
Absolutely,
so,
it's a stain on the history of the club, and it's definitely something that as an American, I'm not necessarily high on, clouding or representing, having them represent an American presence in the game. Certainly not.
No, man, if they had two terrible Irish owners, I'm out here saying these two Irish lads are absolute pieces of shit. You need to get rid of them. It doesn't matter. It never comes down to things. It's just like, you forget what accent they have, forget what their address is. These guys are bad. They're bad news. It was just, but I'm sorry, they just did a little bit of a reputational damage to the, and it's understandable then why some Liverpool fans are like, oh, so the next guys are Americans too. And that's why I think there was a little bit of pushback, and it took time for some of it to get going. But yeah, those were dark times, man. They really were. It was almost funny to look back up, but God, it wasn't funny at the time.
No, it wasn't. But I mean, you're right. Your point about Newcastle is spot on, in the sense of, like, look, technically, Newcastle's owners are one of the richest, if not the richest club in the Prem right now. But it's the realization of, like, something like Willis and Jared's pointing out here. He says, fans don't realize that every season, 10% reduction in funds available until the clubs can only use 70% of net profits for wages and transfers. Those are parts and points that they're trying to make. And if anything, Liverpool, for FSG, I will admit, has not put a lot of their own pocket money in their pocket. They didn't pull out cash like Hicks and Gillette, but like to show off. But I mean, like, they haven't necessarily put incredible funds of their own into the team, but they've created a franchise here that is able to capitalize off of their stature. With the Nike deal.
Don't use that word. You get pelters for using that word.
Well, for franchise.
Franchise, yeah. Don't use that word. You get pelters for that.
Franchise. That's American. I guess that's American.
Yeah.
It's here in, you don't say clubs, you say franchises here in America. I guess.
In England, if you say franchise, you get thrown out of the pub.
I got you. Well, I'm not trying to get thrown out of the boozer.
You want to stay in the pub.
I want to stay in the pub. I like my Carlsbergs. So yeah, that's basically what we have to keep in mind, is that, like, FSG has certainly transitioned the club to be more self-sufficient, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing with the club, in the essence of who and what we're able to do with a lot of the expenditures. and they just utilize things very well. To be honest with you, when it comes to our youth academy, when it comes to transfers, even if they're not the big names that everybody quote unquote wanted, doesn't necessarily mean that those names haven't been turned from rocks to diamonds. And in a lot of cases, Liverpool have done that, whether it's under Jurgen Klopp's tutelage, or whether it was just what FSG envisioned being through Edwards, or any of the sporting directors that we've had that have had visions of what these players can do for us and what they can bring to our club. You can't really knock our club with the expenditures they've made, other than yes, they have not made that big name expenditure.
Yeah, but bro, I think when you look at, imagine you gave someone 300 million and they made it into 4 billion or 5 billion within 3 years. It's like giving him a chocolate bar to say thank you. And that's after we won the Champions League. The way they gave Klopp money to spend was like they gave him a chocolate bar for making their club worth 300 million into 4 billion. And that's why, for me, I lost a lot of respect for the owners. They commercialized everything. They got adverts for Google. They got adverts for this what's that name of that delivery service? They got adverts for everything. So they're really using the Liverpool badge to gain a lot of money. And fair enough, they're businessmen. I understand that. But at the same time, I would have welcomed more transfer money for Klopp to actually win them Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. Always missing 2 players. As Brian said earlier, that 100 million a season to spend would have made a much bigger difference if they gave it him, but they never gave it him.
Yeah, I can understand. I can understand people. I can understand people's pushback. No, I can understand people's pushback for certain.
And that's the thing that they did. Just when they came in, they did the opposite way. They made a point of saying, we won't spend our own money. We don't have, it'll be the money that the club makes, because they thought FFP was going to kick in 10 years ago and it didn't. And they said, well, if it all comes down to how much clubs can make, the only club in the world, if run correctly commercially, that can make more money than Manchester United is Liverpool. They're just as big. So if it basically comes down to how much money you earn, we'll earn more money than pretty much everyone else. We should be good to go. But it didn't end up like that. But yeah, look, I fall kind of in between where JK is. It's what I'm not blaming them as much for that. I just think maybe when we won the Champions League, that might have been the best time to maybe sell the club to someone who could push it on.
Yeah.
That, because they were obviously never really going to be able to make that. So maybe that was the time to just take their £1 billion profit and give it to someone who, would have given us maybe what we needed. That's the thing that I think we missed out on. Not buying players, maybe actually selling the club.
Yeah, but if they sell it tomorrow, they're going to make a good 3-4 billion out of it. If you really think about it.
Yeah.
So
what do you realize? 300 million, JK. 300 million. I think it was that, right, Brian? Brian's
300
million is basically what they spent. 300 million, and now this club is evaluated at over 4 billion. That's a heck of an investment. That's a heck of an investment.
They put it up on the market. They put it up on the market, and they were looking for around that, and they didn't actually get any bites. So they put it on the market to basically get a valuation for it. You know how they do that? Like, they don't know what it's worth, so they say, right, let's put it up. And the biggest offer they got was like 3 billion. So it's like, well, that's what it's worth then, but we're not selling it.
Yeah.
So I think the opportunity was missed to do that. That's what I think we missed out on.
Yeah.
But better the devil is it one of those things? Could we have sold it to some guy who 2 years later is getting sanctioned? So this but some maybes, isn't it?
Could we have sold it to someone that is trafficking in underage players?
Damn.
underage players.
I'm glad you said players. I'm glad you really glad you said players there.
Players, okay.
Whoa.
Like Chelsea. No, that's part of one of Chelsea's
Yeah, well,
violations is because they brought in a player that wasn't of age, but they brought him in like
yeah. No, I know what you mean.
yeah, long story short, they brought him in and they gave him a place to live and you know, just to kind of make sure that they got that player involved in their system. And then, you know,
Who would have thought it, eh? Chelsea.
What's that?
Who would have thought it, eh? Chelsea.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Or, you know, or it could be a case where, you know, we could be a club that is, you know, creating false like advertiser accounts or setting up companies that we own that are you know, propping up the commitments and revenue that you're making from your advertisers. It could be a place where yeah, you know, there's a lot of cases that, you know, we could be doing a lot of different things that a lot of different clubs are getting called out for. We could be like the neighbors. We could be like our, not necessarily noisy neighbors, but the neighbors in Liverpool that have now not only seen one set of infractions be placed upon them, but are on the books of possibly getting a second infraction in the same year. Like, imagine having that as your backstory. That's something no one can be a part of.
The bailiffs are at the door, JK, aren't they? Over on JK, you're looking out the window and the bailiffs are knocking on the neighbor's door. You're going, uh-oh.
Exactly. Agent Angel, you with us still? Hopefully, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm still here, man.
Okay, I was making sure. I know it's getting a little positive. So maybe you might see like a little bit of a. No, I figured that maybe it was getting too positive for you, despite some of the negative stuff we had to talk about. It was still positive. So I didn't know if that made you like kind of zone out.
No.
Big up.
And Chris, are you in favor of FSG or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah.
FSG for life, man.
Ooh,
I stick with my Americans. I stick with my Yankees, man. My Americans all day, bro.
They pay his bills. They pay his bills,
man.
Yes.
Oh, he's come back on screen.
No. I'm out here wearing the Creed shorts and stuff, all American, man.
Did you hear about that? Did you hear that this chick, this girl here,
she's apparently suing.
Yeah, she's trying to sue Nunez
We'll get on that after. We'll get on that after stuff before we get sidetracked.
That's funny, man. That is some funny stuff.
But in regards to like FSG, to be honest, like so what do the fans want, to be honest? What is it that they really want? Is it the fact of they wanted to spend more? Because at the end of the day, from what I see and stuff, Klopp gets the players he wants.
Yeah. I think it was I Love Liverpool made the comment about let me see if I can find it for you.
Because
he made
a
comment about
because from what I see, Klopp gets the players he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because we as fans want more players? And that's why we
I think,
FSG?
I have an answer for that too.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense right now. I think we could all agree we should have invested more after we won the Champions League. I think we could all agree to that.
100%.
We can all agree to that. When we won the title and stuff, we should have. Well, no, when we won the title, that was COVID, so that's a big kind of like you got to understand the market at that time and stuff. It was very hard.
That's why I didn't bring up that season because that's irrelevant. Yeah, it was.
You can't really.
Was more significant.
Yeah, you can't really do that. But even though we did bring players, because we brought in Jota, right? We brought in Thiago, if I'm correct. Who else did we bring? We brought some people. I think we bought Konate that summer as well. Or no, did we? Or before? I'm really sure. But anyway, I don't know. Like in regards to infrastructure, they're expanding Anfield. They gave us a new training facility. In regards to FFP, we don't have an issue with FFP.
We're clean.
We're like even I'm hearing rumors that Arsenal apparently have issues with FFP apparently.
Yeah, they do.
So
that's what happens when you make $100 million transfers, man.
So
that FFP goes quick.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. Like, what do you expect the owners to do? And it's like, I'm not into accounting. Maybe someone's good with numbers or they know understand that. But technically speaking, an owner can't put their own money into the club, though. Theoretically speaking, you can't just write a check for $1 billion and the club can waste it. That's not how it works. You spend your means. Right. You spend what you generate and stuff. Right. So that's where I'm conflicted off and stuff. Like
that's what Abramovich did. He used to be able to do that, but now they said, no, we can't do that anymore. And people said, oh, they brought in these new rules. And people are like, what's with the new rules? And basically what we found out is because of these 3-year cycles and the amount of challenges and all that, it's taken about 7, 8, 9 years for these things to really actually click in now to the point where they've gotten rid of all the kinks in the system, they've gotten rid of all the objections, and they've earned it all out now. So that's like Abramovich literally wrote a check to Chelsea for £1 billion. That's why when they were taken over, Chelsea, the owners had to commit an X amount of money, and part of that was £1 billion to cover that non-refundable debt that he had. So yeah, he literally wrote them a check for £1 billion.
Yeah, so
over the course of when he was there, and that's how you do what you do.
So
wait, what year is it? What year, Brian? What year are you guys? What year is it that we are all going to agree on is the year that we should have bought? Or you're saying because
after we won the Champions League, the year after we won the Champions League.
Okay.
It's the summer after, the month after we won the Champions League. That's when we should have invested, technically speaking.
The summer we signed Adrian Manninger, Adrian Lonergan, and Sepp van der Berg. That's him.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So
2019, basically.
My issue, honestly, my issue with FSG, I think, is at certain points or certain years, I think they didn't put people in positions to make the club, I think, in their optimum and stuff. So the moment Michael Edwards left, the moment they decided to hire Junior Ward, the moment the medical staff when we criticized the medical staff, that's where I blame FSG and stuff, not putting people in place that understand the game. That's always been my issue and stuff. You know what I mean? I think I'm perfectly fine getting players at the $50 million mark and then doing a job and stuff. Like, I don't really give a shit if you're $100 million player and stuff. You know, that's my issue with FSG is like, it seems like there's no plan B. Or maybe that's a Klopp thing. I'm not really sure and stuff, but to be honest,
plan B as opposed to like as client or personnel, you mean?
Yeah, like that and stuff. So like they're decent owners, like you know what I mean? Like could they have done better? Yeah, I could do better too in my life as well. We all can, but it's like I'm not looking over my shoulder like worried about the IRS and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good.
Well, I don't know what you guys think. This is a thing I always had in my head, is that Klopp got this thing where when he held out for Van Dijk, he had this nothing but my first choice. He held out for Van Dijk for 6 months because we messed it up in the summer. He waited and it worked. And then he did the same thing with Alisson.
Literally.
Where he's like, no, I'm not going to buy my second choice. I'm going to wait, and it worked. I think we did that a couple of times on transfers where he's like, no, if I don't get my number one choice, I'm not going to get someone else. Mm-hmm. But also, there's one thing that honestly said there, that according to Terry on the Football Terrace, which isn't a great start, but anyway, they're allowed to spend 100 million out of their own pocket every season. Mm-hmm. That's wrong on multiple levels. There's no law that says how much money you can spend. There's absolutely no law that says how much money you can spend. Zero. There's no law that says where that money has to come from someone's own pocket. That's not even a law. So you can tell Terry that there's a law, a rule that says how much money you can lose. It never says how much money you can spend. It says how much money you can lose. And over a 3-year period, you're allowed to lose a certain amount of money, and that's it. You can spend as much as you want if you bring in as much money as you want. So this whole thing that they could spend 100 million quid of their own money every year, that's no. Just at least get your kind of the Terrys of this world, get it right on the basic levels. There's no law that says how much money you can lose, not how much money.
That's where I've been confused about, Brian. Like when people say that stuff, I'm like, oh, okay. If everyone is saying it, then I believe it, type thing. Because I'm like, okay, we can spend 100 million every year or something, or every transfer window. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I guess people are like, oh, then why FSG not allowing those funds to come out then?
No. When they check your books, Chris, after every 3 years, if your losses are above, I think it's around 30 million, then you start getting fined. You can get up to this, and there's things that you can lose 250 million if you spend it on stadium, training ground, infrastructure. But if you spend it on wages and footballers like Barcelona do, no. So that's when you start getting points. So it's basically there's a red line for loss.
Brian, how do you balance that though? Is it based on like what you win, sales, player sales? Is that how you balance that?
Income, expenditure, simple income. If you lose money, if your books say over more than 3 years, right? They're basically deductible. If you go in and say I've over the last 3 years we lost 300 million pounds. The reason we lost that is because we brought in 700 million and we spent $1 billion, but we spent 250 million or 280 million of that on infrastructure, right? 20 million of that loss is players. That's fine. But if you lose 200 million quid because you brought in 200 million less than you spent, and you spent it all on footballers and wages, you're in the soup. You're in trouble.
Okay.
So that's how they work it out, and that's it. So it's as long as that's why these things take so long, because they're done in 3-year cycles.
So Brian, so let's say for example, it also helps relegate. I hope it also helps the fact that, let's say for example, if a club wins a title or they win the Champions League, those funds kind of go and balance those books.
Oh yeah, wherever your money comes from, then that's where the problem is, because Man City are like, no, we have the income, and everyone's like, oh, okay, cool, but then someone else says, yeah, but where's that income coming from?
Okay,
that's the secondary problem. So you know what I'm saying? So that's why the Manchester City thing isn't really an FFP thing; it's a false accounting thing. But yeah, that's why it's 30 million over 3 years. Spend $1 billion if you want, but you better bring in $1 billion. That's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because FFP doesn't exactly even exist anymore. You know,
like
I said, technically, it's not. FFP isn't what people are trying to get. FFP, it's easier to say that because we're all conditioned to hear the words FFP, but profitability and sustainability, the PSR. Is what is now, the more important concept that people will soon enough replace FFP with will be PSR most likely.
Yeah, it's just a new version of it. It's like, yeah, you can, as long as you can. That's what they told him. As long as you spend what you earn, you're cool.
Right. It's the reason why you saw. It's the reason why you saw City. I know we still have the City fan in the chat. It's the reason why you saw them all of a sudden start to sell a lot of their talent. Like there was a lot of like expenditures that went over and above with their sales this past year, and you would be like, oh, why are they selling this person, that person? Well, they're trying to make sure that they're like within those measures of being able to not get.
That's a great point.
They have enough charges as is. They didn't want to necessarily start to add to the charges during a segment where where we're seeing a lot of these teams be sanctioned in the same calendar campaign.
That's a great point, and that's something because Chris was interested there. That's something that I'd expand on as well. Say for instance, so they sold Palmer for 45 million to Chelsea.
Right.
So with the way that the books work, I'm sorry, the lads are there. It's 105 over 3-year period. I was saying 30 million. It's 30 million a season. It's 30 million a season over 3 years. So that up to okay. So 105 over your 3-year. But basically, what a club will do. So say what Chelsea did, they buy Mudryk, simple maths, for 100 million, and they give him a 10-year contract. On their books, that's only 10 million outlay that season, right?
Right.
It goes down 10 million every season. But if they sell a player, they put 100% of that income on that year's books. So when they sell a Cole Palmer, that's 45% pure profit. That goes into their income for that year, 45 million pounds of it did. If the club that they sell Cole Palmer to spends 45 million pounds on him and gives him a 10-year deal, that goes down as 4.5 million in expenditure on their books that season. Do you get me? They spread it over the 10 years. The buying club spreads it over 10 years. The selling club puts it all on 1 year's books.
1 year books. Okay.
That's why Chelsea love selling academy players, because it's 100% pure
100%.
profit.
45%.
And it goes on that one book, that 1 year. So that's why they load those players up into those academies and sell them for that money, because it basically doubles the expenditure of buying a player like Mudryk, if you get me, when it's spread out. It's worth more on that 1 year book. So over a 3-year period, that's worth more than, it's better to do that when you're doing it in 3-year cycles than to do with the expenditure over a 10-year. It works out way better. So that's how they're dancing around with this money. So that's why people say, how can Chelsea spend that much money? Well, they actually made 100 million last year. Like, what? Like, yeah, because they sold 2 players. And it was all pure profit.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. When it comes to, that's why we've reignited the interest in like a Colwell, for instance, with Chelsea, or why, for instance, Chelsea is looking to possibly move on from Gallagher, who has been one of their better players this year, in a season where they don't have much to necessarily hang their hat on. And, Gallagher, who definitely puts heart, he puts a lot of interest and everything else, but Gallagher was a academy player. So whatever they sell him for is all profits. The reason why if they sell Colwell, it's all profit. It makes a big difference. And that's why a lot of times, I think so, even so for ourselves, this is something for the chat. I would love to hear your opinion and also the panel. I think for ourselves, I think there has been possibly, I don't know if FSG has made this assertion to Klopp or not, but to utilize his youth players more so than maybe necessary. But the sheer fact that we are getting the kind of play from our youth players is great. But the sheer fact that we could possibly go on to sell a player, one of these youth players that, has, I don't know, maybe they have their sights set on playing time, or maybe they have their sights set on, a different city, whatever the case is, at least we're creating some really valuable assets for ourselves, more so than sometimes the assets that might have the bigger price tags, but those bigger price tags that we're transferring are going to be connected to, well, what did you buy them for? Don't
overlook it. Don't overlook it, man. Don't overlook it that we might go down that road a little bit of actually selling some of these kids, because we've done it before with Solanke and stuff. So
they
won't all be the next Bradley and Kwanzaa. Don't be surprised if actually we just go and accept a 20 million bid from Blackburn or some promoted club for a McConnell or a Clark, or that's
20. I mean, it's the reason we got to offer 15 million for reportedly 15 million for Kelleher, for instance. We're holding out for 20. At least 20 or something like that. But because of Kelleher's status and because of like how we acquired him, you know, a good bit of what we get off of Kelleher is going to be profit, you know. So we're looking to make the most profit from that as possible. So,
and that's why they hype players up when they're young, because they realize if they don't even make it, at least we can get 20, 30 million off someone. That's why they do all that hype. They got the media always saying, "Oh, this guy's the next Gaza, he's the next Ginola, whatever it is."
yeah.
Because I know later on they need to make money out of this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. PR counts. I mean, PR
Big
definitely
time.
counts. And you know what, too, to follow up on what Brian said was that Solanke, for instance, yeah, we sold him for a good profit. But guess what? When or if he gets sold again, we're going to make profit again. Because we have
we bought him from Chelsea. We were one of
we have a buy on. There's a buy on clause on his
But
deal.
even we were getting involved. I mean, we weren't getting involved in that Chelsea thing back in the day where they were selling off kids. Like we gave them good money for him. They were even doing it back then. They were doing it to us, selling us their kids.
Yeah.
You know, forget that.
Point. Yeah.
But look at Ryan Brewster. We got 25 million.
We'll make money off of Solanke.
Oh, we will.
Cool.
We will. Yeah.
You know, 20-30%, whatever it is. You know, that money can now that's profit, and that profit can now be allocated towards, you know, that 20 million that we make or whatever we get sold for. We can put that towards.
I was just going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up going back to Chelsea. Would you be surprised if he ended up buying him back? That would be the most Chelsea thing ever, with the buying back.
Yeah, that would be funny. That would be really funny.
They need a striker. He's doing business. He's a good striker. They need a striker.
Yeah.
Would you put it past him? I wouldn't put it past him.
No, I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest with you.
75 million on the table to Bourne for Thomas. Yeah, they did it. They did it with Lukaku. Yeah, I'm putting it out there. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there.
Lukaku, man.
I don't know if Brewster has a sell-on deal as well.
Oh, poor Rian.
I mean, like I have a soft place for Brewster. I've always wanted to see him do well. I like the young lad, you know, like as in sense of like his demeanor and everything else. I wish the best for him. You know, despite not being a red.
You couldn't be angry with him. He's a lovely little face. You know what I mean? He's just like the little lad. Yeah. If your daughter came home with him, he's no problem at all. Lovely.
Right.
He's no problem at all.
The Asian Angel doesn't agree on that one. But
no. Oh no, you're not. If Brewster, no. Okay.
Brewster, yeah, come on.
This is Uncle Chris.
He still looks like he's like 15 years old.
He needs to focus on his weight, man, and focus on his game, man. Talking about dating and stuff.
Yeah.
What's going on with him, man?
Oh, dude.
But tell the truth, Ryan Brewster hasn't really done nothing. What's he done?
Man.
He got sent off the other week. Red card, straight tackle, dirty he was. I was telling
the lads about this before a couple of years ago. 4 years ago, I was doing. I did 2 hour-long shows, basically based on how this guy was the next. You know what? The next whoever, Michael Owen, the whole lot. He just looked so good. He's like, what a talent Liverpool have got and all that. We just did. Yeah, we did 2 proper shows that were basically just about we've got the next Michael Owen on our hands. All this stuff, obviously going way overboard like fans do, but he just looked special. His numbers were different. His numbers were off the charts. We had a couple like him. Bobby Duncan was doing crazy numbers, but then all of a sudden he starts getting minutes. He starts getting games. It's like, okay, this could be the real deal. And it's football in a nutshell. 2 or 3 years later, he was on loan at Swansea. He did okay on loan, but then we get a huge fee. We get a huge fee for him. Can't turn it down. And I thought it was a bad club for him to go to. I didn't know where they got the money at the time. Yeah. I thought, no, this is not the club for him.
Well, I'm gonna post a question too. I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, sorry, just that. Hopefully he comes back. He's young enough. He's young enough.
You're talking about Reed Brewster, right?
Yeah. He's young enough to come back and have a career. He's not finished, right? He's not you know.
Yeah. He's enough of a play. He's enough of a beloved player, you know, for us, even though he didn't do a lot for us in the sense of like, you know, bring us any like glory per se. But he's enough that you do wish him.
He's got a Champions League medal. Can't take that away from him.
Got a Champions League medal though. He does.
Yeah.
I saw our city guest make that point that he's still getting free drinks. he said Ryan Brewster is still getting free drinks with his Champions League medal. Hey,
yeah, but
ride that medal until
but he should be. He should hang that medal up in his room and use that as a driving force to get something in his career.
Oh yeah,
hang it up, look at it, and say, you know what? I need to sort my football career out. He's been drifting for 2 years now. Is it? How long has he been gone?
Yeah, no.
Like the boys said, he got a bit of an injury there.
Yeah, he did get some bad injuries. He did. That's what Beijing Pops was talking about. He says, "Agreed. I keep watching him and hoping he can get back on track."
His injuries weren't career. His injuries aren't career-ending injuries. I don't want to hear no excuses.
No, they're not. They're not. Oh my God!
How about this? I have a question. This is since I'm kind of feeling the Sith Lord influence. I'm going to ask a question that's going to Beijing Angel may pet his interest. I'm going to ask this question. Considering the emergence of our youth talents, okay, namely Kwanzaa, namely Connor Bradley, let's say. Okay, let's just go with those two players. If you were the sporting director, okay, this is for the chat too, minus maybe the blue in the chat. I know what his answer is going to be, but if you were the sporting director and you got an offer on the table for $60 million for Kwanzaa, are you making it? And let's say $40 million for Connor Bradley, which is right around the thing.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
If I'm sporting director, because I understand that we have a homegrown issue in the squad. We don't have the numbers. What happened? Okay, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go sleep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say hi?
You like water?
Yeah, bring the little man. Hello.
That's my youngest, actually. He doesn't know about that.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. If I'm a sporting director, I understand that we have a homegrown issue, so we need the numbers in that area and stuff, and that criteria.
Right.
And stuff. So
what if homegrown is not a concern?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
We got the HC. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. I'll walk you out and stuff.
Oh,
really?
You went from no to walking them out the door purely based on homegrown.
Yeah.
Wow.
You didn't even want to up the price. You didn't even want to add an. You're just like you're taking the first offer.
Wait, no, but Brian, you just explained it to me. It's straight profit. They're homegrown.
But I didn't. I know, but goddamn, man. I mean, I know you're cold. I mean, I know you're like literally cold-blooded right here. Like
that's 100 million, 100 million pounds, 100 million sterling on the table for Kwanzaa and for Bradley. Are you making those two deals? Are you saying, hey, you know what? I get that you're VBQ, but
he's saying, yeah. He's saying, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just asking a question. Look
at what I Love Liverpool said. Those are a big number for kids. That's a big number, man.
But you know what? 60 million, and Brian, I'll let you answer too. 60 million. Only reason why I brought up that 60 million as being maybe a number is because Colwill. That's what Chelsea wanted for Colwill. And they're about the same age.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I have some personal value out there of my own of what Kwanzaa. I think Kwanzaa could be worth more possibly than that, to be honest with you, considering what we've seen from him, his age and everything else, the homegrown, all that status and everything else. But yeah.
But this question is about
this
question is about me being the sparring director, right?
You being a sporting director, I'll type it out for you.
I will get 100 million, and I will buy 5 South American players for 20 million for that price, and flip them again. Like, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
That's just me. Like I can go to South America and get like 3 players for under 20 million at the age of 18, and then flip them again at 21 when they're homegrown and stuff, and keep the cycle going.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to look at Kwanzaa. He's more like Virgil van Dijk than he is Matt Phillips. Kwanzaa, for me, look how young he is. He plays like Van Dijk. Smooth.
No, yeah, I understand.
If you have to replace that, it's going to cost you 80 million if you want to do it big time, you know.
Yeah,
business-wise, it makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. But that's the thing, right, JK? Like, as a sporting director, you have to look at the business side. A good sporting director
depends on the player, bro. I feel depends on the quality. For me, Kwanzaa, quality-wise, he is top level. You could just see it in him. Come on, everyone can say that. Brian, what do you think? 12 man Kwanzaa?
Yeah, look, you don't go out. Yeah, it's what the question you answer is like. Yeah, what does it cost you to replace? Just what Jacob like?
That's it.
What would it cost you to replace those guys? And yeah, you say I'll go to South America. You know, you've got 2 guys there now that have shown you that they can go. That's worth 20 million. You bring in a guy from Sao Paulo, a guy from Nacional, whoever. You don't know. You don't even know if he's going to settle in the country. We already know Kwanzaa can do it. We already know Bradley can do it. Mm-hmm. So if you were to sell the 2 of them and then need to replace them, which you would, you're going to end up probably spending that money and more to eventually land on the right proposition. So I know it was kind of centered around the whole pure profit kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, I would say, yes, we should sell. If somebody said to me, what if you were offered £30 million for Owen Beck and McConnell? Right. Okay. Maybe you need.
Yeah. That makes more sense. Yeah, that makes more sense.
But I'm not selling the 2 guys who have shown you that they can actually perform and do it in the Premier League, in Europe, and all that. Please, but because forget that. We're not trying to replace that. Plus, it's the optics.
I just read the comment.
That was funny. That was funny. That was a good one.
Yeah, he's good. It's good. Sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's it. That's how I was saying. Just you'd end up.
I completely agree, Brian. I'm good. I'm good at reeling people in and stuff. You know what I mean? That's my thing. I'm good at it. So.
No, I just because you're the king of the. What I like to think of you, Chris, is you're the king of the unexpected 3rd follow-up question. I'm going to expect a follow-up question from you now, maybe a second, but then if all of a sudden, boom, you hit me with a 3rd follow-up. So I'm going to start hitting you with follow-ups, basically. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what I'm going to start doing.
No, because like the first thing I thought about, right? Like the first thing I thought about, because 12 man was good with that question because he picked 2 players that I think all of us rate.
Right.
But then we started talking.
I didn't say McConnell. I didn't say Clark.
Yeah. So,
those players I don't expect getting 60, 50, 40, whatever.
That was a good question, right? But then I thought about what you were explaining to me because I honestly don't know about the number game. So as a sporting director, I just thought of it. You know what? If we're talking about the number, if we're talking about the number game in regards to like the profits and all that stuff, it just makes sense to me. But then I didn't look at the side of replacing the player in the way. You know what I mean?
Who are you going to spend it on? It's fine to have the money, but who are you going to spend it on?
Exactly. Yeah.
But for a club, if imagine Bournemouth had them 2 players, for them it's perfect. They're making 100 million straight bank because they're not going to fulfill their career needs. Them 2 guys, if you understand my point. But a team like Liverpool,
Bournemouth, Brighton, perfect. Yeah, Bournemouth, Brighton, something like that. They sell them for that big bank.
Gene, I think Gene. I appreciate the love, but I think I'm too ruthless. Like like behind the scenes, like I don't know, man. A lot of people won't get contracts. A lot of people won't be playing. A lot of people will be in the hospital bed for an extra week or 2 until people get ready.
I'd be expecting to find reserve right backs in the skip at the back of Anfield at this rate. Like, just take them away there. Yeah, anyone can have them. Just take them away.
Brian, I'll put them in a straitjacket, throw them away. Like, here, put this on, get out of here.
Put a little sign around their neck, say free to take away. You know that? Like, put them on the curbside. Anyone who wants them, just pick them up and take them down the road.
Yeah, no, I mean, what's very interesting, and I've been reading what the chat's been putting. Everyone is very staunch in the sense of, and I'm not advocating that we sell either of these players. I'm just putting it out there.
It's a question. It was just a question. Yeah, it was a good question.
Just a question, exactly. And like, it's just funny though, because like a lot of people in the chat are very, very staunch. No, never sell him. Not selling him. Not selling him. Not selling him. No way. No way. But yet, I'll see other people put in like,
thank you.
Ace Taxis Wakefield put he would rather sell Trent for 100 million. I'm just like, I'm trying to get like, so you wouldn't sell a player that you've seen play 5 good games in a row, which is great and all well and good, for 40 million, but you rather sell a generational talent that's won us a Champions League, won us a Premier League, won us like almost every trophy that you can put in the cabinet. You rather sell him though.
Who designed the modern day right back? He switched from the Gary Neville right back to a new model of the right back, and that's what Trent is. He's the guy.
Yeah.
I don't really think so and stuff, but Trent is up there though, because like to sit there and say he kind of modernized it. There's been players like, you look at Cafu, Roberto Carlos, you look at Dani Alves, like, I think maybe Trent has taken it maybe a different level offensively.
But in the Premier League, yeah. Dani Alves, 100%, like he was his sort of style.
Yeah.
But Trent in the Premier League, he brought it to a new level, and every right back since then, every young kid, they want to play like Trent. James from Chelsea, they all got the similar game to Trent now. They want to attack.
This guy is on.
Jeez, I mean, look at this. This is really. Some of these things. This is like a question to say. This is for Salah for 200 million, or Bradley and Kwanzaa for 150 million. Who would be harder to replace? That's an interesting point. But there is a question.
But 12, I've been hearing a lot about this 200 million for Salah. Like, where's this come from? Like, I've been hearing it a lot.
Well, because the 150 million, there was they reopened the communication with FSG and put it out there that they'd be willing to go. They would have and are still willing to go up to 150 million for him. And now it's being rumored that they would be interested even going all the way up to 200 million if that's what it takes to bring him in.
Hey, man,
but this is what I mean. Like Nigel's saying, I might consider selling Connor for 500 million, but even then, I need a weekend to think about it.
but that 200 million series, 200 million is a serious amount of money, though.
Yeah, and again, the only reason why I'm making the reference for Kwanzaa at 60 million again is because of what
Caldwell
was getting, and considering I think that we relatively dodged a bullet in a sense. Not saying that we can't still go get Caldwell. Not saying he's a bad player, but what I am saying is that we didn't necessarily have to put out 60 million or whatever the number was that they were going to eventually settle on to get Caldwell when we have a Kwanzaa, and it ends up being, I think Kwanzaa has shown more promise than even Caldwell has currently. I'm very high on Kwanzaa for his ceiling, but it's just interesting. I see a lot of people now, and I know that you're in that camp, Bayesian Angel, as to saying that you would sell Salah, right? And that
when did I say that?
You're not in that camp? I thought you were in that camp.
That's Rasta Crabs and stuff.
Oh, that's Rasta Crab. I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
But
Rasta Crab wants to sell Salah. He wants to sell Elliott. He wants to sell like he wants to keep Thiago. He wants to keep the Yago, but he wants to sell Salah.
Okay, so my thing is
Big up Rasta Crab, by the way.
The big up Rasta and stuff. He's not feeling well. He's sick and stuff.
Okay. Well, maybe he was sick when he was making those statements, but
yeah, maybe a little bit. But my thing is, I'm not afraid of change. Like, so with that being said, if Salah was to leave, then Salah leaves, and then we'll move forward and stuff. Like, I'm not really in this thing where it's like we cannot sell Salah, or we can't sell Van Dijk, we can't sell these players because, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not in that mindset and stuff. Like, if the player wants to go, then he goes. Or if we have to sell the player to bring in another player or whatever, then yeah, I'm all for that type of thing. Like, I don't think people are talking enough about. We don't know what the plan is after the summer. Like Brian said, like, we don't know who's going to sign a new contract, who's going to be sold, or who's going to be part of the manager's plan and stuff. So I'm actually very excited about what the direction the club is going to go going forward and stuff. Because I don't think it's going to happen, but a manager could come in and be like, yo, I don't value Salah, in my opinion. I want to go younger. I want the squad to go younger, in my opinion. That can happen. That could be a thing and stuff. You know? So, yeah, man.
Well, Chris, you're right there, man. Like, not being afraid of change is basically a prerequisite for following football, because nothing changes faster than life, than football. Okay, we see how things change. Like, and this is something I keep referencing to myself when I think about things, and I keep bringing up whenever I can. Is that we've really no idea how lucky we are that we've had a manager this good for this long. That we can sit there and say, what's Klopp going to do in 18 months? A couple of years ago, what will Klopp do in 18 months? Most managers are about 4 games away from losing their job. 4 games, right?
Yeah.
Even at the highest club, 4 freaking games. And then we're sitting here going, well, in a year and a half, Klopp can do that, and then in 2 years' time, he can do that. Sitting there comfortable in our perfect little bubble, that we have a great manager. But now, like you say, don't be afraid of change, because it's coming at you pretty quick. The next manager that comes in, he might last a year, lads. We might need to get used to some tumultuous times, big changes coming. Even the very best of the best, to manage this changeover smoothly. I think we bumps in the road, but yeah, just get ready for change, because it's going to happen. And like I said, if you're talking about a player like Gravenberch, and this is an extreme example that Chris is using there, sell Salah, not sell Salah. You could have the next manager come in and go, Gravenberch, no, I don't like him. 50 million, yeah, sell him. Or next manager comes in, Gravenberch, exactly the kind of player I want to build my midfield around. Get him signed up to a long-term contract. We're just going to have to wait and see. And it won't be a right and wrong situation. It will just be a style, formation, manager type. Maybe Andy Robbo isn't, maybe it's not. Maybe Trent isn't for him. Whether, we're just going to have to wait and see. And I say embrace it. It'll be exciting. It'll be different. It'll be new.
Exactly.
It'll be new is good and it's different. But, we're not going to hire some schmuck. We're going to get a good manager, and we're going to see, it might shake us up a bit. Might just shake it up. Might change a few things. But he's got one hell of a squad. He's got a hell of a squad.
But to answer your question, 12th man, apparently what I'm reading, apparently Vinny's being quoted at 130.
Hey, if we sell Bradley and sell Kwanzaa, you might be able to get that number.
He's adding the numbers up already.
You got the numbers right there.
I'm using the calculator.
What's Diaz worth?
From what I know, apparently there is actually I haven't spoken about it, but there's a report on Colombia apparently Barcelona's gonna go for him in the summer and offer 60 million for him. Apparently. Don't know if there's any truth or anything about that, but apparently 60 million for Diaz, apparently from the news outlet Caracol in Colombia and stuff. So
I saw it yesterday, I think it was, and it was just kind of a real buried deep story, not a headline story, but it was Barca want Diaz, and yeah, of course they do. Barca want everybody.
Barca wants everyone, but I think the only reason why you're really hearing a lot of talk about that is because of Lucho's dad. If Lucho's dad had never put that into the to the stratosphere or into the universe, whatever, we might not be hearing him be so heavily linked to Barca. But he made stated that Barca was his son's like dream team to go to.
Man, he's always been linked to Barca.
South American boys, South American.
He's always been linked with Barca since his Porto days. It's just the funds hasn't been there for him to go there. To be honest, if I can tell you now confidently, if it was between Tottenham, Liverpool, and Barcelona came knocking in that January, he would have went to Barca. So
of course he would have.
Look, there's another good player too. I mean, like he goes to Barcelona, great, but here's a player. It says question for Beijing Angel: would you sell Diaz if you could get Yamo from?
He's that kid he's that kid, right? That like young winger, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
For Barca right now?
You're not getting Yamal. Don't be honestly. Sit down. Take it. You're not getting him.
I don't think he signed his pro contract yet.
This kid is the next Messi. I mean, don't even talk about it. Unless it goes badly wrong right now at the moment, just throw him in, and he's doing it at the highest level for.
I'll wait and see for that, because I remember Ansu Fati was the same thing too. So
yeah, no, I said injuries. No, I obviously I'm joking with the next Messi, but this kid is off the charts. Nobody's getting him. Nobody is getting him. This guy,
really?
No, that's not happening. Go and look this kid up on YouTube.
Oh yeah, he's a good player.
Ridiculous.
He's Turkish, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah.
He's good.
Lamal,
I think he's got a little of a.
No, he's Spanish. He's
he's a Spanish player. Okay, I thought they were talking about Turkish.
Like he's African. He's African, obviously, but I think he's only 16 and he's been there for a few years. So he might be like Angolan and stuff. Güler is the that Güler is the Turkish guy.
The Turkish kid. Yeah,
he's Turkish player. He's Turkish player.
Yeah, he's the Turkish player.
Yeah. I think he's got an issue with his.
Güler is at Madrid. Yamal.
Some of his comments have got him in trouble, I think, or something like that. His attitude.
He's cocky. He's a cocky little kid, man. Yes, but the kid has the goods, man.
He would be if he were at Real Madrid at his age.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
He has the goods, though. The kid has the goods.
But do you think he's going to get the chance there? That's the question,
Yeah, I think so. Because, we got to think about it, too. Kroos is on his final steps of leaving. Modric as well, seeing a lot less game time. So, Real Madrid have done a madness in regards to setting up their future, to be honest. Like, wow.
Yeah.
There was something, I remember there was something about Güler.
Yeah,
something he made some comments or something. I don't know. I'll have to double check. I'm not going to put it out there.
Güler, if you're doing the whole next Messi thing, like Güler is the Turkish Messi.
Yeah, he's good.
So that like they're all trying to find. Obviously, everyone tries to find this next guy, but like honestly, saying there, like Yamal, his dad is Moroccan and his mom was from Equatorial Guinea, but he's Spanish. He's declared.
Oh, Jamal. Okay, Jamal. Oh, it sounds Spanish though, Jamal.
Yeah, if you look at him, he's obviously African, but he is the next. I mean, at this age, he's probably going to be done by the time he's 26 because he'll have 10 years in his belt. But
man, Japan and Korea is out, man. What happened?
Yeah,
Whoa!
I know. Yeah. There was another name in here that I wanted to bring up.
The PSV winger.
The PSV guy.
He's rapid.
He's going for like 35 million, I think, or something like that, right?
But 12 man, that's the range. But that's the thing though. Like that's the price we like to pay for players. 35, 40 million, that's our range. That's our spot.
Here it is.
That's the sweet spot, man. Oh, Jonathan Bakayoko.
Yeah, from PSV. Yeah.
From
Yeah.
PSV, yeah. Him and Neto to replace Salah if he goes.
The thing with Neto's good. Like
He gets injured, but I like him. I think quality-wise, he's the best.
for Neto, I think he just needs to he needs to be in his own specific diet, his own specific training. Like he just needs a personal trainer, and he just needs to stick on that. Team training and stuff like that. But I think he just needs his own regiment, in my opinion. I'm surprised that a lot of teams don't do that with certain players. They just need their own regiment. And I guarantee you, if football goes to that mindset, a lot of players will be more fit, in my opinion.
But you also have that crossover thing as well, where you got, and that's gotten players in trouble before, where they have, because we were talking about this the other night, me and 12th man, about how the guys who have the money, they have their own personal chefs, their own nutritionists. Like some of them even have live-in chefs who work just for them.
Sometimes a club will provide a chef for you.
But Pogba got in trouble for going to his own personal fitness guy because he didn't think the people at United were doing what was right for him. So he was going to this guy that was basically, he was paying on his own. And the United, so basically, Chris, you'll know this, like the medical staff of United were saying, right, you've done your rehab today. Now you need to go home and
rest.
Rest and drink this. And he was going and doing 2 hours with his personal guy who was saying, no, they're not doing enough with you. You need to do this and you need to do that. And there was massive conflict coming around. And Pogba was like, no, this guy, he's my guy. He's my man. Like he's telling me that the Man United staff basically are wrong. It's not like we're not following the rules or we're breaking a rule. Pogba was basically saying, yeah, my guy who I trust more is telling me that your Man United medical people are wrong. Like that's a real problem.
That's a major problem. That's one of the reasons why you definitely don't want to have that happen. Is now all of a sudden everybody's going to have their own guy. Everyone's going to have,
I think it just depends on the circumstance, right? So let's say, for example, a player like, okay, we'll use one of our own, Naby Keita. Should have had his own regiment. Should have had his own person assigned from the club and stuff. I'm not saying for you to go and get a personal trainer, but if you're going that route of you know what, physically I'm not okay. Physically I keep getting injuries. Okay, let me sit down and talk to the sports science team. Talk to the manager. Be like, hey, I want to be on the pitch. What are the routes I need to take to get there? Because physically, what I'm doing right now isn't helping me and stuff. And you form a bridge between LFC and, let's say, for example, you hire a personal trainer and stuff, and they develop a plan and stuff.
Well, the separation was the issue.
Exactly, that's the issue. Separation. Yeah.
You were going into something, so Chris. Someone goes into you and you go, right, I've just done 2 hours of physio with you on your knee. You're done now. I don't want you to do anything until for another 18 hours, and I'll see you tomorrow. And you've told them that. And that's it. That's your professional opinion. And he's your employee, basically. And he leaves the building. And then he goes home. And then his physio says, nah, man, he only gave you 2 hours. You can do 3 on that knee. You want to be back. So, yeah, you need to remove that disconnect. Whereas these guys need to trust their clubs.
Exactly.
Otherwise, because they have so much money. That's it. That's what we're talking about. They have so much money that they can afford the best of everything. They can afford these chefs. They can afford to bring in these fitness people because they've loaded downtime. So it's like, yeah, they end up hearing all these voices in their ears. And anybody, of course, they all want to get back fit as soon as possible, right? Surely.
Yeah. Honestly, saying we have Liverpool have concrete interest in Johan Bakayoko. PSV's club director has admitted that this is his last season at the Dutch club. The winger is valued at £35 million.
It's
I have a
week.
question for you. Here's a controversial question. How about this? Considering that this coach might be on his way out, I'm gonna put it in there.
No.
So I can get on. No? Is that a hard pass by everybody in the panel? Is that a hard pass by everyone in the chat? I guess so.
Yeah, no.
Just a question.
Wait, Pochettino's got fired, or he's gonna get fired?
No, he hasn't gotten fired, but they're already. But
It's
considering
Chelsea.
that the rumors are already out there that Chelsea are trying to pursue Xabi Alonso,
no, are they? Really?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Dad, no. Sorry. They can leave him alone now. I've had enough of this interference.
Yeah, I mean that's they.
But apparently, I don't know if people noticed there was pictures in the game against Wolves. Hansi Flick was in the stands.
Like look, to be honest, lads, in the Roman Abramovich days,
I don't even know what that means.
Pochettino be gone maybe 4 games ago.
Yeah.
This is new Chelsea. This is new Chelsea that fire managers, and they're nothing like the old guy. Like this, the fact Pochettino is still there is amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Old Chelsea, he's gone weeks ago. He's gone weeks ago.
There's a picture of Hansi Flick in the Chelsea game against Wolves, so it looks like he might be the next manager for Chelsea if that's what they're going.
Okay, Pops. I'll chill.
Yeah,
I see that. Don't worry, Pops. I'm chill.
I like
you
it.
Know what? you know, no, this is Pops knows how I feel about him. He knows. Pops knows me for a while, and he knows how I feel about him. That hits deep. I'd rather see Gerrard play for Chelsea than Alonso manage Chelsea. That's all I'm saying there. I'll leave it right there.
Oh, damn.
That's so funny. There was some else. This was M. Tarmizi. At this, he said his top 3, but first 2 are unrealistic, is Don Carlo and Simeone, and then
Inzaghi. Inzaghi's a good shout, to be honest, Tarmizi. You've been calling his name out for a while. He's doing very well this year.
Oh, Simone. I said Simeone. My fault. Simone.
Inzaghi. Yeah, he's doing very well.
Inzaghi. Yeah.
Top of the league, man.
Yeah.
Just beat Inter there at the weekend. Or Juve.
Wasn't he in the Champions League? He was in the Champions League final, right?
Who's that?
As the player.
Oh
no, Inter wasn't Inter in the final last year?
No, not last year. That was. Hang on. Inter in the Champions League final.
Yeah, wasn't City against Inter in the final? Or was it a semi-final or something? I'm not sure.
No, yeah. Inter Milan City final, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But that wasn't Inzaghi. That was
No, Inzaghi was the manager.
Was that Inzaghi then?
Yeah.
That seems like a long time ago.
There's 2 brothers, isn't there 2 brothers?
Yeah, Pippo. There's Pippo Inzaghi, who was the better player. He was the striker who AC the ball was offside.
Mm-hmm.
Inzaghi was old.
You know what's unique about this search that we're doing, and in regards with excuse me, in regards to Xabi Alonso. Sorry about that. With Xabi Alonso, apparently there's a condition in his contract that he can leave Leverkusen only for the 3 clubs he's played for. So he can leave.
No, 12th man. That's not true.
Really.
That's not true.
Is that not true?
No, it's a gentleman's agreement.
It's not gentleman's agreement. Okay.
Yeah, it's not in his contract. Yeah.
He can speak to.
Not in his contract. It's a gentleman's agreement. Okay.
Yeah, he can speak to Real Madrid and Liverpool, but again, that's only something that's been reported, and that's an incredibly easy thing to make up because it makes sense.
Yeah. Could be bullshit. No.
But
It could be.
there's
I just putting. I didn't necessarily mean to say
yeah.
that it's like.
But no, what you need, but also if you think about it the other way, he works for any club can approach. Like any club can approach Leverkusen and say, "Can we
Right.
speak to the
Right.
manager?" Yeah, there's no kind of like, "Oh, you can only speak to these guys."
But they'd have to
It's
pay his severance pay or something. Like they'd have to
yeah,
pay
it's
like.
not like there's some special deal where he can leave for
I think
half
Asian
price.
clubs have said that too.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of yeah, that just makes sense. It's a headline. So you go, oh, he can speak to Liverpool. Yeah, of course he can. He works for Liverpool. They're not going to stop him speaking to Liverpool or Real Madrid or Inter Milan or anybody. So you know, it's a headline, but of course, like I don't think we have a special.
I might look into
discount
Inzaghi as manager in.
And Pops is bang under. The talent pool for managers right now is
Yeah.
an inch
It's that
deep.
low. Yeah.
It's an inch
Is
deep.
so low. Yeah, I'll put his comment up there. Pop says the talent pool for manager isn't as deep as it has been in years past. Even there's a lot of there's such a drop off when it comes to Pep, Jurgen, and then everybody else.
Everyone's a gamble.
Everyone else is a gamble. There's no one out there that's on that
concrete,
stellar level of saying, oh, his history, everything about him, he's got, none of that exists outside of Pep. Obviously, Ancelotti and everything, but Ancelotti's not coming. I don't think Zidane actually is
he doesn't count at all.
I don't think he's as incredible of a coach, despite the fact that he's had some incredible accomplishments. I'm not going to say that he's some like incredible tactician or some incredible I don't think he's on the levels of Pep or Klopp, to be honest with you. Despite him winning
3 years off.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Zidane.
Tony Cruz.
3 years off football.
Oh, Zizou. Are you talking about Zizou?
He did stuff at Real Madrid and he takes 2 years off, and he takes 3 years. No, he's not a serious manager for
He didn't speak enough for me as well.
a tactical. No. Give him the best team in the world. The Madrid, yeah, no, he's a bit of a unicorn manager. He would be a complete disaster there. Total disaster. I'm calling it now. He'd be a complete disaster. The only thing we have that's anywhere near like we were speaking about this the 10 years ago, Benitez, Mourinho, Ancelotti, guaranteed 2 years, trench coat manager, proper old school. Those guys, they're gone now. That's what we're talking about. Is the headmaster type manager.
Yes,
they're all young coaches. They're all young coaches. The Iraolas, Amorim, that guy at Fluminense, Duniz, Xabi Alonso. The only thing close to that on the market right now, 2 maybe. So yeah, Jared is right. Simeone, he might be.
Right.
He might be someone like that, but he hasn't transferred. But I think Unai Emery is probably the closest thing to an Ancelotti that's out there now. If he just said, right, I need a solid, rock solid manager for 2 years that will guarantee that this top quality squad will get either second or win a league, but it's guaranteed Champions League. He's one of the only ones out there. Everyone else is basically a brand new up and coming coach that in 5 years' time will be the next Mourinho or Guardiola. But yeah, like I said, it's the Amorims and Alonso's and De Zerbi even. They're all gambles. They're all going to be. One of them is going to be brilliant, but it's going to take getting that big job to prove that they're brilliant.
So, Brian,
we pick the right one.
Brian, this question is targeted for you and for JK too.
Not me.
I have another question for you. What my question was this: just from that statement alone, like as in to say, De Zerbi, like as in all these good coaches, but you have to take somewhat of a rider on not having the same expectations of you just like getting, competing for titles, competing for silverware on all fronts. What we've seen with like a Chelsea, that's one of the reasons why I even brought up Poch, is that
Hey, Jordan.
do you think that this fan base will be willing to allow for that next coach to have the 2-3 years or whatever 4 years that it took for Klopp to really get settled in and produce?
I can answer that question first. Yeah, I can answer that question first because I have an answer.
Oh, so you just answer it personally then. You go ahead.
Yeah, I know, preloaded. I've also preloaded for that because I said this. It's an easy question. Alonso gets the softest landing out of anybody. Out of anybody that could possibly come in, out of all those gambles, he is the one that will have the most goodwill from fans. Yeah. The fans know him. The fans love him. Everyone likes him. Everyone wants him to come in. So out of all of them, he will get, exactly what you're talking about, which is what I hope happens. That time to breathe and go. Because if we were to bring in a slightly say we brought in Thomas Tuchel, right, who nobody wanted.
Right.
He gets about 4.5 minutes in the Liverpool job. And as soon as the fault's going wrong, people are like, nah, hate him, never liked him, get rid of him. Whereas Alonso, as much because you're like this, I know what you're like. On the emotional level, the way people connect with people, the connection between Alonso and Liverpool, it's so strong.
It sounds such like Top Man and stuff.
But he will get so much. But he will get that buy-in. Basically, he'll get buy-in from the fan. That's priceless. Now, it doesn't mean he'll work out. I just mean he won't be on the naughty step straight away. And that's what he'll need. That's what the next manager will need, is that time to make their own new decisions, make a few mistakes, and change things. Right. So I think, Alonso is in the best place to get that time because the goodwill that's there, it shouldn't go overboard, of course. But this is the thing with Alonso. I don't worry about it. I think he's good enough so that when he comes in, I don't think it's going to be a disaster. But if there was some other guy, I reckon they might get 2 or 3 months, and if things were going badly, they'd be really unpopular really quickly. Whereas he'd get the patience. That's why I like it as much as any other managerial thing, because it will just give him that time that will be needed. He'll have much more goodwill in the bank. Credit. Come on, how much? Alonso has more credit in the bank than almost any other player. I mean, he's adored, loved.
Okay, then I'll ask this question to. I'll slightly change a little bit of the pretense of the question to JK then, and this is to the chat as well. And I'm going to post the question so that the chat can. I'll bring it up for you as well so you can read it. Says, what's more important, finding a great sporting director, a la like an Edwards, or a great coach? What is more important to you? What is the more important step do you think that we have to do first? Because both are positions that we need. Both. I know a lot of people don't necessarily give. Some people, there are people out there that do, obviously, but there are some that don't necessarily. They give more of the praise to Klopp. They don't give any real praise towards Edwards. But both were very, transformative when it came to our team. So, what's more important to you? Finding a great sporting director or finding a great coach? Which is more important to you? And that is to the chat as well. Coach, manager, obviously.
I would say personally, I would go with the guy who's going to be the sport director. He has to have the best interest of the club at heart. He shouldn't get a deal done just to please the owners. He just did it, but he actually thinks about what he's doing, because this is Liverpool. We're not Man City. I was going to say Man United. We're Liverpool. So for me, if the director comes in and then the manager, that's cool, as long as it's quick.
So a manager.
Yeah, first the guy, director, then the manager. Yeah.
Then sporting director, and then manager. Okay. I'll ask you, Beijing Angel, that question. Brian, be ready because I'm going to ask you the same. But Beijing Angel, what is your answer? What's more important? We're getting a lot of answers. There's a lot of different answers. There's a lot of different answers out there.
I think
But there are two roles we have to get.
Well, technically speaking, right, a sporting director lasts longer than a manager, right? So,
no, our manager lasted longer than our sporting director.
No. But technically speaking, in the sporting world, directors last longer than
normally, yes, right.
So, looking at that scenario and stuff, I would say a sporting director and stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In my opinion. So, because it can be vice versa, right? I think if you have a bad sporting director, it doesn't matter how good the manager is. You're not going to go really far, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, sporting director for me, then manager.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, okay. First off, I'd probably just reject the question.
Okay.
Because, no, I'm only joking. I just like that phrase. I think it's good.
Yes.
People on YouTube, you should learn that phrase more often. Actually. I reject the question. You don't have to answer it.
I need to reject more questions.
Yeah.
Copyright that, Brian. That's a good one.
both, obviously. Right now, the guy who the guy who appoints the new manager is potentially the sporting director. So that's obviously, but I think it's manager. I just appoint the best manager. It's a horrible question because if one is, it's like, oh yeah, but if he's shit, then the manager's no good. It's like, yeah, okay, okay, all right, okay. It's just low. It's a horrible question. So, like, no, I'd rather have like a world class manager, and not the world's best, but okay, sporting director. Than, oh my god, the world's best sporting director and a really shit manager. Because I think that's the way I'd look at it. But we're Liverpool. We should probably have both, and we will because that's the level we're operating at the moment. We're not. But it is strange because this is kind of something that's been missed out on a little bit. That the guy that's coming in is probably going to be the guy that's going to make a decision on the manager, maybe. But it's getting too close to that deadline day now for me to think that we haven't already started making moves. So I think we may have someone dancing in the background wearing a different suit than there used to be. There's someone doing moves in the background that they would much rather a sporting director was doing. But we're not going to wait until, say, the 5th of May when we finally get a sporting director. Oh, okay, right. Now, who do you want manager? Because pre-season starts in about 4 days. I reckon that there may be some people out there now that go, I'm going to do this job for 2 weeks. And they're going to be the ones picking the new manager.
Right.
But yeah, the guy that's in charge of, especially now with an FSG structure, the sporting director will have a lot of he'll have a lot of power at a club like Liverpool. So that appointment is key.
It's a very key appointment. That's what
I'm asking. It's what we're built on. It is what we're built on. It's completely that kind of direction. Where a Klopp manager, where we get this wrong sometimes. Klopp is a guy who wants to be there and go, oh right, what's that? Oh, you signed me that guy. Cool, right, bring him in. He's not up there going direct, trying to sign players, get contracts through the door. He just wants to know that the best guy out there doing the best work for him is getting him the best players he possibly can. He gets a phone call, right, we've signed him. He's not up there going, right, get me this agent on the phone, let me talk to this guy. He knows how stuff works. And just, so getting the best director for a club the way we are run, which isn't just go out and buy the best footballer, it is incredibly important. It's massively important. And
it is immensely important. People look past. Sometimes people look past the back room.
Well, Michael Edwards became a celebrity at Liverpool. He became the first celebrity sporting director. He really did. Now they're talking about Steindon, Paul Mitchell, the guy that's over in France, There's the guy
How
at
about
Bournemouth.
here? Let me show you some. Let me show you some.
The
So
guy
this
at
is
Roma.
honestly, he was saying sporting director in his opinion, top three for I guess for to be our sporting director is the West Ham sporting director,
That's
Ralph
true.
Ragnick, or the Brighton's sporting director.
Yeah.
All good. You know what I'm especially when Jorgen was here and we were gonna and the idea was that we were gonna have Jorgen for at least another year, if not two. I was on board with bringing in Ralph Ragnick as the sporting director. To be honest with you, that would have been a great. I think that would have been a really great relationship or matchup for a coach.
There's
and
hope for you
sporting
after
director.
all, 12th man. There's hope for you after all, 12th man. That was a good choice. Good choice.
It's a good
What I
choice.
didn't like was the fact that it came out that we offered Edwards the job back, and he said no.
Yeah,
I didn't
and he
like that.
declined.
I didn't
That
like
hurts.
that.
Yeah,
Bad optics, bad planning, a little bit desperate, maybe.
which they normally don't do, Brian. Too normally
Yeah,
when
it needs a call.
we make an offer,
Yeah.
it's because we have a reassurance that the offer is going to be actually accepted. We don't put offers out there normally that
It worries me. It worries me. But look, let's talk about sporting directors. The one last thing I'll say is they get a lot of. Everyone remembers Damien Camoli. JK, you remember him? Spurs.
Mhm.
Came to Liverpool. He was a bit of a joke. Oh, he was terrible. But he was seen as a really bad sporting director. Because he was kind of involved in some early things where we were just trying different stuff.
Mhm.
He was the one who signed. He was the one who said, "You need to go to Spurs and get this guy Michael Edwards." That was Damien Camoli. Like this is like how when you get the right people in. He made a few dodgy transfers and got some good people in, but he went to FSG and said, "You need to go straight to Spurs and just get this guy Michael Edwards." And all he was at Spurs was a data analyst. That's all he was. Just a data analyst. And Camoli was like, "This guy knows his shit." And he went within a couple of years. Then he's literally in charge of all transfers at Liverpool. If that's not a career path, I don't know what is.
That is
To go from working in the back office at Tottenham with all the other guys just crunching numbers, doing all that Moneyball stuff. If that shows you that the FSG will trust the right people, the smartest people. You don't have to be, walk in with a big overcoat Sam Allardyce type. I've been in the game for 40 years.
Right.
I know all you need phone numbers. They've moved way beyond that. They're prepared to give a guy like him the job. But I would also want to know what happened with the guy who I've forgotten his name. You boys will remind me. The guy who took over from Edwards and left like 3 months later, handed in his notice.
Ward, yeah.
Julian Ward, yeah.
But I mean, it's a testament of Ward too. Ward thought he was going to greener pastures by going to Ajax, I think it was, right? And then Ajax ended up saying, "No, we're good." Right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't. He was like, he got in the big job, and 3 months later, he was like, "No, I'm only going to see out a year, and then I'm out." Like, oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, you were here for 5 years waiting for the big man to leave, and now you stepped into his shoes, and okay, you only want it for a year, and you're announcing that basically as soon as you get the job. He turned around and said, "Yeah, I've decided to only stay for a year." Why did you? Yeah, that to me was a really strange one. That to me was like, okay, there's problems here. Maybe not problems, but
so wait, I want to go through these I'll show what the chat has said as being their ideas as well. So Nigel said he's for a manager. Bayesian Pop says it's bringing a great sporting director because, with all due respect, the coaches managers aren't great. As in meaning there's no real great choices out there. I love Liverpool, want director. He said, Bayesian Pops also said, plus if you get the structure right, then you should be able to plug and play with different managers. Jean Gray says,
that's the dream. That's the dream.
Yeah. Sporting director from Jean Gray. And then I think someone else said something else too. I have a question then. Since you said you said you're for manager, right? You said manager,
Well,
Brian, right? You said manager.
after I rejected the question, I said,
Yeah, after you rejected the question,
yeah.
right?
I said
Yeah.
both. Manager, reject the question. So yeah, everything.
Okay. But if you had to pick one, if you had to pick one or the other, you know, which one would be your top priority first? Because
Manager.
one has, you're probably
Manager.
not going to hire. You're probably not going to hire a sporting director and a coach at the same time, right? You're probably going to hire one or the other, most likely, right?
Yeah, if you say to me you can hire one person tomorrow, a world-class sporting director or a world-class manager, I'm taking the world-class manager.
You're taking a world class manager. And JK, you said sporting director? I'll make sure.
If I was going to pick, if I was going to pick a world class manager or world class director, I'm going with the world class manager as well.
Manager. Chris, you're going with manager or director? You said director?
Director.
Okay. So with that said, okay, my transition from that would be we've seen what we've done with the managers and directors. We've all definitely said that there's no real great manager out there that can run the club or run the club at the level of a Klopp per se. I'm going to ask this last question. This will be my last question of the day here. Would you just simply, it's been suggested in the chat, would you then just simply do what FSG or Liverpool, especially here now with FSG, do so often and keep it in-house and just bring in Pep Linders as our coach? Would you do that?
I'll answer that first. Hell no.
Hell's no from Darth Vader. Okay. Brian?
If we're assuming that he's a U-turn because he's going, right? He's leaving.
Pep Linders, you know what? In his interview, or whatever you want to call it, the out, like I'm leaving to speech.
Yeah.
He spoke about he wanted to always be he wasn't going to be I'm trying to think about it exactly how he stated it. He basically kept it open. He said he was going to have a conversation with his manager. He didn't really shut the door to say that he wouldn't be interested in the Liverpool job. It could be that FSG didn't offer it. And that's the reason why he's kind of going with his answer.
Yes. No, that's it. I think that's what happened is he left already, 2 years ago, because he went off to make his own way as a manager. He went to Holland.
Mm-hmm.
It went
And
pretty
failed.
badly for him.
He failed.
Yeah,
Failed.
it went really badly.
Bro, say it again, Brian. He failed.
He failed. Yeah, he went to Holland and he failed, and he came back. He got his old job back, and nobody really noticed because only Liverpool fans would really notice something like that. But yeah, he set up, Nijmegen, NEC Nijmegen, and it was a bad time for him. He may eventually go off and do something else, but this is not, like I say, this is not the time for.
Sorry to cut you off, Brian, but just to say it again, he failed again.
He failed, yeah, he did. He failed massively. He failed enormously. He failed bigger than Failey McPhail in the failing McPhailey fail contest. Yeah, he was number one. He finished top. His tail was so far between his legs when he came back. He was sucking on it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that goes, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I know, but I think Chris really wants this point hammered home. You couldn't give that guy the job because it's literally it'd be worse than giving it to Arteta.
No, but Brian, but when you really look at it, right, like
it was right there. Yeah, it was right down its throat. Okay, are we going to keep going?
But if the structure was in place, is the fact that everyone is leaving, and you're going to leave Pep is not going to work, in my opinion.
No, 12th man is spot on. He nailed this straight away. The only reason he said he's leaving was because he stuck his head into John Henry's office and said, "So," and John was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, okay." He knows he's not being offered the job. Otherwise, he might not have said he was leaving. I think it's definitely that. It's just he knows for a fact that, look, thanks, Pepin, but you're not on the list. You're not a candidate, basically.
This is what he said too, by the way. He said that I Love Liverpool has it correct. He says Linders, in his answer, he said he would never be anyone else's assistant after Klopp. He never said he did not want to. He said he wanted to consult with his manager, and he kept emphasizing that, you know, his children are his children consider themselves proper Scousers. You know, like as in
that's all the usual stuff. Don't worry about these interviews.
Yeah.
Man. Don't worry about them.
Right. No, I get it. I'm just saying what he said, and I just it perked my interest a little bit when he said, "I don't want to be anyone else's assistant other than Klopp." And I'm like, okay, well, that obviously leaves you open to doing a managerial job of your own. He's still very young.
Yeah,
right.
No, he's tried it. Like he could be Barcelona manager in 10 years. He could go off and do some weird jobs, or he could be next to I suppose.
Oh wow! Look at Bayesian Pops. Bayesian Pops says he would make himself the sacrificial lamb, and it might be better for us in the long run if we allow for him to. It's not a bad point. Have him be the transitional coach. You know, have him be the Ollie in essence. You know, a better version of Ollie, I guess you could say, certainly, because I don't think Ollie was a good coach, but
got him second in a poor league.
Right.
I don't know.
So JK, yeah, JK, what is your answer then to that? And if he keeps on ticking and winning, then even better. JK might be busy, I think.
I think what it is, Pep's face, he just doesn't suit the Liverpool manager's job. And for me, so I don't need to ask anything else, you know. Pep Linders.
I mean, the team is certainly in his image. I mean, like everyone's always talks about how Pep Linders, you know, influence on this team is obvious and apparent with the selections and how we've gone for so many Dutch style players. I'm only again making a question out there.
I think, but I believe he's helped us reach certain successes. You know, he's worked hard. You can't get that wrong. But for the manager's job, not for me. But maybe in the future when he's put a graft in somewhere, I don't know, could be back in Holland, maybe Germany somewhere, maybe even in England, God knows. But right now, he ain't the right manager for Liverpool, but he's doing well for us.
Okay.
Yeah, like you said, his face, that's almost, it makes it sound like a really simplistic way of saying it. But like, in 10 years' time, he might look like a manager. Right now, it's just, it's just like, oh, what he's saying, he doesn't look like. It sounds simplistic, but JK is spot on. You need that gravitas. You need, like, there's a reason Brendan Rodgers is trying so hard to seem like a certain type of manager when he came in. Trying so hard to sound like he had all the things and he couldn't quite pull it off because he just didn't have that gravitas. He didn't have that weight.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I agree with
Klopp
that.
also, you know,
Right.
Brendan tried, so goddamn, he didn't try. If he didn't try hard, you know what I mean? Linders, he just looks like a coach. It's like Tuchel, he looks like a coach. Pochettino, to me, looks like a manager, right? Whether he's a better, Tuchel might be better, but you know. He's just got that, and that actually comes into it. That's as silly as it may seem. That's part of it, you know. It's part of it. Like that's why Stevie G, even out and say he was putting on the big overcoat. He knew how to look like a manager. Suit, tie, not a tracksuit. If you wear a tracksuit, you're a coach. Marcelo Bielsa can get away with it because he's crazy, you know.
True.
No, it's true, man. If you go into work tomorrow and your boss is wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
What is this?
You're not looking at your boss the same way. You know, it's they know some of these guys. It's about players just look at a manager and go, "Oh, he showed up in a pink convertible Mini." oh, this guy isn't right. You know, this guy shows up. He's a manager. He shows up in a black Merc. That's what managers do. You know, he wears an overcoat, a suit. It's all like footballers are simple people. You know, they don't want him showing up in like weird gear and like being all strange. You know, it's just part of it is about like how you look in front of the camera.
I mean, that's one of the major issues with Potter was that for Chelsea.
Exactly, spot on. Todd Bowley said, "Who's the guy in the tracksuit?"
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Bowley literally said
That's kind of sad too. Who's the guy?
But that's why the Tottenham manager, he's got that persona about him that he knows what he's doing. If you understand my point, he's a bit more.
He knows.
He's been poised as a possible replacement as well. I mean, I'm not trying to make this into a replacement replacement thing or something, but
same age as Klopp, man. Postecoglou is same age as Klopp.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool fans would love him. Imagine he showed up and started playing that kind of football. Good football gets you fans. Good football. It helps.
He's one of my choices.
Agree with what I love Liverpool has to say about, the reasoning behind why Pep L might be a good decision is because of what he says here.
That's what I'm saying, man. You don't go from one wifey to another.
So he would be basically our rebound?
I mean, I'm not going to use the words he uses because, I'm sorry. I've got you blocked, man. I'm sorry. I've got that guy blocked. I'm not going to respond.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I've got you. I've got him blocked for a reason.
Okay, no worries. Let's see what else is there. Like ice cream seller, True Nigel, blah blah blah.
What do you think of the Tottenham manager 12?
I actually think that I like charismatic coaches. I like coaches that you can kind of like, it's almost like the same way, like, when people talk about here in America, for instance, then they talk about the president and like they often make that reference of who's the candidate that you would most likely want to have a beer with. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that
Klopp is king. Klopp wins that competition in
exactly.
Yeah.
If it came down, if I could have a beer of Pep Linders or Jurgen Klopp, there's no hesitation who I'm saying I'm going to go handle the round for. But like,
man, I gotta step out and stuff.
Yeah. No worries. I appreciate you.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you for representing Beige and Reds TV for sure. If you haven't, go check Beige and Angel out on Beige and Reds TV.
You have a show tomorrow and stuff?
Yes, I have. I'm doing my best to conduct shows every day. And I only went a little bit later in the day today. It was because I participated in with Frank Carlisle's channel earlier today. So that's the reason why I showed up a little bit late for this broadcast. But every day I'll be trying to do my best to make a broadcast.
Okay. What about the Anfield Cup, bro?
Yeah. I know. I have the Anfield Cup. I
would try to pop up tomorrow if I can.
Yeah, it's a shame you got to leave.
Tomorrow's my birthday, so I might not be
available. Oh, happy birthday, man!
Oh,
happy birthday, bro!
Yeah, tomorrow, so I might not be available.
It was Steven's birthday in the chat today, and now it's
Steven, happy birthday, man!
Yeah, you guys are both. You got no wonder you're such a great light. You're an Aquarius, so that's a good thing.
Aquarius, man.
Yeah.
Aquarius.
Age of.
I don't need the positivity, man. Get out of here, man.
You gotta play that crappy song then tomorrow,
Oh yeah. But all right, guys, later, man. Take care, man.
Later. Yeah, we're gonna be ending the stream here shortly. Big up to Rasta Crab. I see Rasta Crab in the building. Very, very. I know. Now that Rasta Crab's a part of it, it would have been interesting if he was here a little earlier, because I'm sure he would have been putting his 2 cents worth in on a lot of the topics that we discussed. But yes, for sure. Wow, for sure. Happy birthday to Steven, Truth Seeker, and also happy birthday, happy birthday, I should say, to Chris Angel for sure. Definitely good. It was a good talk though today. I enjoyed today. Definitely good talk. I wanted to, I know there's a lot that we wanted to that we're dealing with in everything, but it is what it is. I'm going to bring up this last little thing here then before we bounce out. This is something that me and the guys are doing that we're having a lot of fun with, and that is the Anfield Cup, the 12th Man Anfield Cup here. So I'm going to show you so far what we're looking at so far. What we're looking at so far is I do have a game in hand, so I have to make up for that. But so far, Beijing Reds TV is still Beijing Reds are still in first place, having played 5 games, 4 wins, 1 loss. Jay Kismet is in second place, having played 5 games with 7 points. He has 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Laszlo is in third place. Huh?
Look at me in third.
Yeah, right. And you've definitely come up. You've definitely come up because now Laszlo is in third place. Played 5, has 2 wins, by the way.
That win against you last week was kind of pivotal, I think.
Absolutely, keeps you in the running.
Yeah,
keeps you in the running.
It was all over
wins,
for me that game.
Yeah, 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. That's big. I need to get on your settings because I have 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses for 4 points, and I'm tied with the chat, by the way, for last place. And that's with the chat having played 5 games. They have 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 losses. So
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Just is Dustin's job in danger? I mean, this is not a good run. It's not a good run of form here. I mean, the chat,
I think Dustin's hanging out with Poch and and kind of like drinking some tea and worrying about their future as the head man.
Payoff. He might be getting that payoff. Next thing you know, there's a new manager in place before the next round. I'm just saying, Dustin, man, you got to pick it up, man. You got to pick it up.
Right. And for all those that aren't following along, basically what we did was we put together. We all had the Liverpool team. We got to pick. We got to make selections. We got to make up to 5 selections. We ended up rounding it off to, and we got to pick 5 replacements out of 5 different teams, or I think it was 5 different. Yeah, it was 5 different teams, or 10 teams.
No, 10 teams.
10 teams.
It was the top 10 teams in European football in the ballistic thing.
Yep, and we ended up picking those teams. Mm-hmm.
Plus Real Sociedad because you wanted to pick Cuba.
Yes, exactly. I got a little bit of I ended up getting a little bit of a sweetheart deal. Ended up not even getting the player I wanted to get.
Yeah, and then you didn't get Cuba, which was kind of hilarious. So yeah.
So it is what it is, but yes, this is what it is, Nigel. In case anyone's wondering what we're talking about, we've had 2 games of action so far, and so far it's not too much of a surprise, but Beijing Reds version of Salah and Laszlo's version of Salah both have 5 goals in the Golden Boot race. And very unsurprising as well, considering he's top in the league right now. Beijing Red has Darwin as third place, but second in the running with 4 goals. Darwin has 4 goals for him. So that's the Golden Boot race currently. But yes, we're going to stay tuned with what we're going to be doing. I've already briefed Jay Kismet and Brian as to how we're going to get this to absolutely work going forward, so I don't get any copyright knocks against me. But we're going to definitely have a winner of this tournament. It's a fun little tournament. We've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only got like 8 games left, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty here to find out who's going to represent in the final match. So it should be fun. So hopefully you guys join us. Keep an eye out for that. This episode was supposed to be a spreadsheet session where I was going to bring up a bunch of spreadsheets and kind of go into a lot of the stuff that I like talking about when it comes to the numbers. But I'm going to save that for possibly maybe tomorrow or the next day after that. But all the same, to the chat, please do figure out what you want to do with your lineup. You guys definitely need to figure out what it is you're going to do with your formation. You had one slight game of brilliance against Jay Kismet, then you definitely kind of crap the bed the next day. The next game with that 5-1 or something was the game. I think it was like 5-1 loss to Laszlo's team. So big up to the chat as always. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you again, Jay Kismet, for hanging out as long as you guys did. I know it's late. Thank you, Jay Kismet. Thank you to Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you also, obviously, to Beijing Angel for Beijing Reds TV. Appreciate that that he was able to join the discussion. Jay Kismet, is there anything you want to say before we land the plane?
No, we did the A to Z of the football club today. It was good chat. Good chat. I just want to say happy birthday to the guy.
Yeah.
I just want to say happy birthday to the guy in the chat whose birthday is, and Chris's as well. Happy birthday, bro. And Brian, have a good day, bro. Have a good night.
Yeah, definitely. And Brian, is there anything that you want to say before we land this plane?
No, just everything JK said. Right back at you, man. Right back at you. And looking forward to maybe causing a couple of upsets, but eventually having to sit there and watch Chris lift that trophy.
That can't happen. It just can't happen. We will never hear the end of it. Brian, we will never hear the end of it. Never.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. So if we can get them all, but as soon as we can get that up and running, if you're watching now, and Kevin Keegan up front, of course, Nige, if we could have picked some of the Glasgow players, but we'll do another version like that maybe at some point. But no, look, right now it's looking good for the Bayesian. That's all I say. Looking good for the Bayesian.
Yeah, looking good for Bayesian for now, at least. All the same. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you guys for hanging in there. I know it's late for some of you guys. I know it's I know some of you guys probably have to go off and eat dinner, possibly. I think that might be what Chris was about to go do. But all the same, I appreciate each and every last one of you. We will see you tomorrow. If it's 7 p.m. in the UK, please do check your YouTube and look for Liverpool 12th Man. That's the hour that I've slotted in as being the hour of my preference. So hopefully you're here to join me. And until tomorrow, peace.